Okay, g'day everyone. Sorry for the delay. Everything was good to go, and then my computer decided to crash. So I'm just glad we got it working. I was really looking forward to this. So I'd like to welcome everybody. G'day, Duck. Hi, Lynn. Hi, ya love. And who else was there? Shannon. I saw Shannon there somewhere. Yeah, I think I've got everyone. I'd like to welcome any new listeners. You're here with Ninja Cat 111 on the Forbidden History Chronicles and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. We're currently broadcasting on my channel, while Desert gets organised with his new computer. His computer went down as well. So we're broadcasting here, and hopefully very soon he'll be back up again running with the Forbidden History series. So we'll be alternating. So his channel is there if you'd like to check it out. All the links are in the description. And I'll just get on with the introduction. The signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert can discuss the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV and print media, while he can see, read and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weakness and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl, who I'd like to welcome, finally. Hi, Desert. How's it going?
Hey there, Ninja. Good to be on the broadcast again. I was touch and go for a while this morning. I was wondering if how that was going to play out. So I'm glad you got it together. It wasn't as bad as we thought, and this technology is for the geeks. That's all I got to say.
I'm not techie, so I'm very glad that it's working. Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, keep going. I have a little presentation.
You said something, there was some graphics or something you wanted to share.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's open it up first. So is there something you're popping up? Or
there is. I'm just
there is.
going down the
So
list looking for it. Yeah, I saw something. I can't take all the credit, but I saw something and I ran with it and was wowed. So I'm going to put what I saw up, and then I'm going to put a little snapshot of your dictionary up to help me explain what I saw. Okay. Hopefully this is set up right. Okay. You should be able to see it in a second. There's a delay.
Okay. Some very pretty flowers. Is that out of your garden?
Yes, they are. But that's
okay.
not what I'm showing.
The K-row, the positive, negative, omega, alpha, omega.
Yeah.
Pronounced omega.
Yeah.
But they say it's a symbol for Christianity, but it's actually not. It's cultic, and we're not supposed to make subliminal signs and things of that nature. As John said, to stay away from idols and images because they create false impressions. This is the one world order. The occultic Cairo means the place. It was a symbol that, as the P stands for the first letter place, the X marks the spot, so the Cairo means the place.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know what that electrical thing is on the other side.
Okay, I'm going to read the post that came with it. I didn't want to put that up on the screen because I don't want to risk putting things up that I shouldn't. So I don't know. So I thought I'd put the picture up and just read the post. And I'll leave a link in the description if anyone wants to check it out. It's from the Dutch and hang on, I can't pronounce it. The Dutchsense. We just call him Dutch for short. He keeps track of the earthquakes, and he put this post up with this picture, and I'll just read it. It says, "This is strange. A common LED light, electricity flows from the negative to the positive, which produces light where the electricity jumps from the top of the P-shaped anvil head over to the post. The electricity flows up through the cross shape and into the top of the P shape, which they call an anvil head, jumps across the gap to the post and produces light as it goes across." And then it says, "Now look at this." So we're looking at the symbol on the right now. Now look at this. The Christian symbol and what you just explained. Anyway, written here, the Christian symbol and the omega negative to alpha positive with the P and the X on the post. Very strange that in conjunction with this symbol, the omega and alpha and the cross between, and then he says what's written in the picture there. Says Jesus here, but Yeshua said, "I am the way, the truth, and the light."
Yeah, but you see, the problem is it's a false narrative. The symbol we see classically on the priest's robe. We'll see this Cairo on the priest's robe, and what it means is the place. So it's the place of the pedophiles, the child molesters, and it's a false Christianity, Catholicism.
Okay.
It predates Catholicism, you know. So it's so we got to be careful where we get this stuff, because that's why we're doing the broadcast here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
So you can pull it down now.
Also,
pull it down because we don't want to mislead people into thinking that this is somehow.
Yeah.
You know, we're not allowed to make pictures, because pictures, like the classic, you know, the angels with wings on their back.
Yeah.
These images of angels, so-called angels with wings on their back, are nothing other than representatives of the ancient legacy of the ancient Bikresh, the Watchers, the Aryans that have been dominating the world. It's their ancestral line. In other words, the putting wings on your back is a metaphor, meaning you have transcended this world. And that, again, is another false narrative dealing with these psychopaths and murderers.
Yeah.
They haven't transcended anything other than they pull the wool over everybody else's eye.
Yeah, but
you know?
can I get to sorry. I actually want to focus on the picture next to it. Is what I was getting at. The word above positive. I'll flick it. I'll turn this picture off in a second. But yeah, the word above positive, and anode, is that how it's pronounced? Like ANODE, that word there.
Anode may be the way it's said,
Okay. So we'll go to here. This is what I can't. This is why I'm wowing, Desert, because that word caught my eye, and I've got something written down here, but do you think I can find it? Oh, Ninja's got it. Hang on. Okay, so I looked in your dictionary, and actually before I looked in your dictionary, I saw this is just my notes here. I saw ANOVA, and so that made me see Nova. So I looked up Nova, and I think it just seems to me like they're showing us, like that's showing us. It's like a parallel with the light bulb and the way the electricity works in the light bulb. It's like a mini parallel to the truth, like compared to the truth, like how it says Nova in your dictionary, and well, you can see it right there. Did go. I had it perfectly in my head how I was going to explain it, but it's gone now. Do you see what I'm getting at though? Do you see it?
Well, no, the picture's gone, so I don't get. Sorry, I'm missing the point.
Oh, I don't want to put the picture up again.
All right. Well, then we'll have to do the replay, and everybody can do that. So nothing lost.
Okay.
And so very good, and thank you for that. But I did have a couple reads out of the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths. I've also defined some words over this past week that rather telling. So I'm not sure where to go first. And I also have then an expose from Philo that I read last night that clearly talks about the dual nature in a profound way, and also the garden and the Eden, which is the Adam and the river that flows out of it. All of these things are in Philo. Philo is the only commentary anybody would ever want to read, because he was first in any commentary that we find in our late period of time, 2,000 years after the fact of Yeshua coming back, rising from the dead. But he also was a friend of Yeshua, saved his life in the temple, and he wrote the all-time narrative, The Works of Philo, 1,000 pages. So his work is authoritative and classic. The only problem is the Baalai, which were the Judean scholars that were following the Babylonian Talmud after Yerushalayim was destroyed, then worked in the libraries in Rome and Constantinople, and redrafted all of the writings from Josephus to Philo, you name it, and they took out anything that would be representative of our Redeemer, and therefore very little is found. Very little is found in that regard. Then, so the conspiracy to hide the light and hide the truth is throughout time, and nobody can figure out their shenanigans. It's a committed study that and like I say, I'm not smart enough to figure this stuff out. That the one who made all things is the one who reveals all things. So someone needs a little light, a little insight into what is going on in the world, and they need to make a connection with the one who made all things, because he reveals all things. Other than that, we got people on a merry-go-round, waiting for aliens to come and save them, thinking the Earth is flat. I wonder, what I guess I never heard about Amundsen and going the race to the South Pole, and how that all played out. So there's enough evidence. The star navigators, how they navigated around the world with the stars. The stars in the southern hemisphere are different than the stars in the northern hemisphere. You put enough questions to something, and it'll begin to the truth will surface to the water. Not to mention that all the flat Earth denies also the scriptures, because the scriptures talk about a solar-centric event of creation, and even what we have is our when it's called the firmament, that's the outmost sphere, the atmosphere. They call it atmosphere. I wonder why. The sphere is round, isn't it, Ninja?
Yes, it is. Last I checked.
Yeah. That would be your apartment, right? So anyway, I'm just waxing a little here. And so let's go into the faith of evil. And evil is a code word also. It's not the right terminology. Evil implies blindness or darkness, the two primary aspects of evil, or we could say also wrong action. But and I'm going to get a little more light here. Hang on a minute. Okay, there we go. So evil, fate. As we know, we have two possible ways that our lives can play out. They can play out with destiny. We have a destiny, and when you are in Yeshua, you are predestinated. So you are predestinated, Ninja, because you went through the water and came up breathing a new life in Yeshua. So you have a destiny that allows for you the potential to transcend this world and live forever. And of course, you need to receive the great breath of wind and fire, what's called classically the spirit, or the Fare. So that is now the quest. You're running a race, to be fulfilled within this great mystery, and have the full enlightenment that comes with it, and the gifts that occur with it in this mystery. So the personal the personal self's false opinion of the sufferings of the lower life and of the natural order of existence. That's the first definition on faith, evil. The personal self's false opinion, there we go, right out the gate. That's mainly what everybody has, is some false opinion. I call it an open onion. It makes you want to cry. An opinion is an onion. But I don't care about
okay, cool.
I care about what it is, based on the evidence that comes through the sacred scriptures, the Shultres, that tie everything together. And so the opinions of the sufferings of the lower life and of the natural order of existence. I guess the classic is when something happens to somebody, then they say, "Why did God do this to me?" Right?
Yep.
But their entire existence had no connection with the one who made all things. They didn't dedicate themselves to serving him, and then they want to blame him for their problem.
Yep, exactly. I know, because I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came here to give us an abundant life, it said. And the abundant life does not mean monetary wealth. The abundant life means to find the true peace and the true enlightenment.
Yeah.
And then nothing else really matters once that occurs. See, so it's an inward treasure. That's what's called the treasure in heaven. It is the gift of the great spirit of life. Just like he can create a star and he can create a planet. He can create within you a state that is beyond anything you have ever imagined. As it says that I have not seen nor ear heard the things that he has prepared for those who love him. Okay, so the dedication. And if one stays dedicated and unmoved against all the tides and all the contrary things that want to plague you, then ultimately you can receive what's called the crown of life, or the reward, gift, also known as the gift, classically, which is the promise that comes through Abraham. So it's not instant salvation. It is a movement towards your destiny to have a marriage. It's called the marriage in our scriptures. We are the bride. The bride is a virgin, and so we have to be pure in all of our thoughts and all of our actions, and to put on that light, the alchemy, the transforming of ourselves as we see Him. We transform ourselves into that quality of character, and then at one point, Yeshua says to the Father, "Father, look at Ninja down here. We can't. She's done doing everything right." And then then the Spirit comes down, and suddenly you are transformed in this great mystery. And so that's really the simple narrative of that. And I just wanted to qualify it, I guess, because of what we're talking about here. So fate and evil continuing. But when the light is mingled with air in earthly form, or in form like the race of wild beasts, or of plants, or of birds, then men say that these things have come into being. And when they are separated, they call them evil fate. This is the established practice, and I myself also call it so in accordance with the custom. And that's Empedocles. I'm not familiar with who that is. There's just different quotes that qualify these definitions that I read, as you know. Say, continuing, excuse me. But when the monadic life is embodied in the earthly mind, or when it is exhibited in the subhuman kingdoms, then it is assumed by the lower mind that the phenomena which answer to the soul's present stage of experience and growth have only now begun to exist, and that they exist in themselves. And so when the elusive discontinuity is apparent, and the oneness of things is unapparent, then blindness and darkness is apprehended to be real or cruel. Fate is supposed to be the soul's destiny, and the personal self, being ignorant, is led to make these false implications under the illusion of the senses. And that's where our reason, remember that sixth sense, we talked about we don't have five senses, we have six, and the most important one, they never told us about, and that's our ability to reason and to process. No, they want us to memorize what they feed us, and that's it. They don't want us to reason, think, be critical thinkers, or to ask questions, just do what you're told, slave, and so the whole point is that from we look at our technology, but we didn't make the technology, right? We were handed the technology. Somebody else made the technology, but we see all this technology. We see all the fantastic structures, the buildings, the ability to fly through the air, the ships, and everything else, and the party time, of course. Then we think that we must be the most superior of all the the former existence of creation, especially when we hear about the Dark Ages or the other primitive times. But the truth is, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically and spiritually, we are at the lowest point, perhaps, of all periods of time, and we are in essence, the perfected slaves. This world, this society on this planet are the perfected generation of slaves, because they're the slaves that you need a passport. You know, you need to go. You need to get the slave passport to go from one border to another. You need the license, that you need a license to drive a car, driving being a commercial term, to move about on the common way, to ride your horse. You need permission. You see, so the slaves, they got the slaves to buy their own food, to go take care of themselves, and every day come back on Monday to start the rat race all over again that feeds the beast, because the beast needs labor. And so it's the great enigma that we are confronted with, and we just have to the first thing is we have to be able to define the nature of our universe, and after that, then we can make our decisions about what we do or don't want to do. But if we're ignorant to it, and if we just accepted everything we were ever told and never questioned it, and started poking with our finger the things that we're being confronted with, then we'll go on thinking that we're saved, thinking that we've got eternal life in us, when we obviously by our behavior are contrary in nature. Because Yeshua came to put on the perfection, the fulfillment of man, who is a perfect being, who does not do things that are offensive or that are wrong, or say things that are stupid. That it is an enlightenment. Okay, it's an enlightenment that unfolds. It unfolds. That's why it says there were two trees in the Ganon, and the tree of knowledge, and then the tree of knowledge is the first thing we have to acquire. The knowledge. Yeshua is the tree of knowledge. Your Redeemer, your big brother, is the tree of knowledge. And then from the tree of knowledge, you gain strength, you gain awareness, you gain confidence and strength, knowing who you are, where you are, when you are, and why you are. And then from that point, then when you have conquered the self, conquered the illusions of this world, and the curtain has come down like the walls of Jericho, then there's nothing left but the Father to say, "Come into my paradise," and then that's when you receive the great breath of the living fire. So it's a process. Clearly, ignorant, people that are ignorant and slaves cannot inherit the royal house of the Son, classically called the kingdom of heaven. It is a work and a walk, and a test. It's a trial by fire. These are the metaphors that define it. You will be tested, and you have to succeed. But if you know the illusions of this world, then you can't. You know He's there. He's right there with you. He never leaves you. He's right there ready to save, but He may let you suffer a little bit, because He knows that the testing, the tempering of your spirit is required in order for you to transcend this world. What about the ultimate test? Your mortal passing, when you're gonna, be, brought to the chopping block with these Islamic, creeps, or these, the Vatican assassins, the whatever annihilation plan they have for us. We're going to be confronted with tests that are beyond our these false alien, narratives when they come down with their little ray guns. In the shelter of the Father, we are protected. We are protected by covenant relationship with Him. That's His promise also. And but if we're lying to ourselves, if we're pretending, then the joke is on us, because He's for real. But we have to be for real as well and conquer. And so the other definition that was similar, I read these yesterday, is fate sphere. So we had fate evil, now we have fate sphere. Well, I guess all the flat earthers will have to tune out now, because we got fate sphere here looking at us. Okay, so I just took my throat medicine. Let me continue on here. Fate sphere, a symbol of the lower planes, and subject to the law of cause and effect, or karma, in relation to the spiritual monad. Excuse me, I have to cough. Okay. But all Father mind, all hyphen Father, all Father mind, represents the father. The earth, the physical creation, the body represents the mother. The mind represents father, so it's right on here. But all father mind, being life with the capital L, and light with the capital L, did bring forth the Eshan, the creation, man, co-equal to himself. See, that's the mind of reason. That's the one that can be married to him, the mind. The body we have to leave behind. It's about what is in you. You are not the body. There's something in the body that belongs to you, and that's all that you possess. Continuing, the creation, or man, or the anthropos, is the spiritual prototype of humanity and of every individual man. And that comes from me, T.G. Hermes, line 1. The Eshan, the man, the creation, the heavenly man, the man of light, the light being that he's supposed to be, which we don't see. The seed of the sun, Son of God, correctly, seed of the sun, code, who descends and becomes a slave of the fate sphere. See, that's the fate sphere. We become a slave to it. The Eshan, the creation man, who, though originally endowed with all power, that's the atom we talked about, endowed with all power and the ability to reason and know all things, descends into weakness and bondage, slavery, and has to win back his own freedom and regain his original state. The star creation, that's what we are. We are a star creation. Fallen is the self, or the world soul, who descends into matter and becomes the archetypal Eshan, man, when all his qualities are involved. He subjects himself to karma, and in the process of evolution rises from the dead and ascends and transcends the humanity to his original state on the higher conscious plane. Get the picture, Ninja?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. That's some pretty deep stuff, and it's right on, you know. It's what our spirituality and Yeshua is all about. It's universal truth. There's different quotes from different sources, and I'm amazed at how, Gaskell, who put this book of this dictionary together, to find all these other sources of proverbial truths and put them all in one book. We have to remember even the occult are pretenders. They're pretending truth. So very often when we read something from another tradition, whether it came out of India or or wherever, they were carrying the mantra of truth. Truth is a universal thought, but then behind it are the priesthood and the game players and the ritual sacrifices and whatever. While the regular people are on their knees praying and seeking the light, then the priesthood is in the darkness seeking the next ritual sacrifice. And so it's rather an enigma of our world, where we are.
Yeah, yeah.
And then here's one more.
Yeah.
I just read this morning. Head, H-G-A-D, the head.
The head.
A symbol of the mind, the intellect, the intelligence, that which distinguishes man. You prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with the oil of truth. My cup runs over. Psalms 23:5. The self has prepared for the ego the fruits of experience to be the food of the soul. The fruits of experience is the food of the soul. Okay. While the desires have become inoperative, the divine love is bestowed upon the aspiring mind, and wisdom fills it with comprehension. Let your garment be always white, and let not your head lack ointment. The ointment is truth. There is the comprehension which may be termed the head, because in that is placed the eye of the soul, the eye of the soul. And this is that which, or by which the soul discerns things that are presented to it, and that either it originates through the great Elohim and the great Father Yahweh, or through the serpent, flesh, and ego. This comes out of John Bunyan. He had quite a story, John Bunyan, back in the late 1600s, I guess. Greatness is from greatness of the soul. One more quote: the head of being, the uppermost and the chief part of the body, is often put for the whole Ashan, the whole man. So the Baruch king, the blessings, the endowment, the enlightenment, the separation comes on the head, in the mind, and the whole individual of the just. Proverbs 16, 16. And men have their way recompensed on their head, on their own head. Falls upon your head, right? And so that D at the end of head is obviously an enigma. I haven't worked that one out yet, but that's where I have to do the etymology on the words. Ninja, we're going to go to Philo next, but I thought maybe give me like a 2-minute break and give out the contact information. I'll be happy to take any calls on Skype or the phone. The routine. So just give me 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. Right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Just have to. Sorry, guys. Ninja's made himself comfortable on my notes on Desert's information. Come on, Apple. Now it's all screwed up. Okay. All the links and contact details are in the description of every live stream. For any new listeners, you're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with Ninja Cat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. If you would like to donate, any size donation will do, to help Desert in his work with the greatest transliterational project in history. You can go to www.therealpublicradio.net. That's www.therealpublicradio.net. And there's a donate button and a PayPal button there. In doing that, you will receive a copy of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, and also a copy of the Book of Wisdom, which is a great read. It's one of my favorites. I love that. And also a sample of the original gospel with a more up-to-date copy of the dictionary at the back of it. These are PDFs, and they're very handy, especially if you're only just discovering this information. Very, very handy to help understand. Also, you can go back to June 21st last year, June 21st, 2018, and watch the Forbidden History series on YouTube with Desert from the start, and he walks you through it. And yeah, it's just great to listen to. Desert is also available for interviews. almost forgot. If you would like a copy of the PDFs and you do not have the money to donate, that's fine. We will send you copies anyway. My email is in the description of all of these live streams as well, so I can send them to you. So just contact me. If you want to contact Desert, I can get a message to him, or you can call him on 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. If you're international, just put a +1 at the start. And he also has Skype. So do I, but I don't know how to work it yet. But you can Skype Free America Radio. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with Skype, but yeah, you can contact Desert on Free America Radio. And we'd like this to be a caller-generated program. So if you would like to have a chat live, that'd be fantastic. Desert is very knowledgeable, an amazing man, and very easy to talk to. Back when the Forbidden History series first started, for weeks I was saying in the chat, I want to call, but I'm too scared, I'm too nervous, I'm working up to it, and it took me it took me weeks. Yeah, it was a real challenge. And then when I finally called during a live stream, I don't know why I was so hesitant. The nerves just disappeared as soon as I got on the phone to Desert. So he's very easy to talk to. So Desert, you back? I'm running out of words.
I am back. Did you get off the Skype?
I did indeed.
Well, it's not ringing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise. I promoted you very well just then, I thought. There is a delay, so just give him a couple of seconds.
Okay, I'm still waiting. All right. We'll inspire somebody one day, and they'll get on that Skype call, and
yeah,
I'll have to send them a gift.
It'll happen.
So, I'll figure it out. So we're in Philo. I know why, because they don't want it. They're just listening intently here.
Yes,
trying
yes.
to figure out, okay, where does Desert get this stuff, and
yeah,
and then we certainly we talk, as you know, we talk about the deeper algorithm of our spirituality, because what we call Christianity today is just basically surface icing on cake. It's just the frosting. It's and we know it's death. To eat that stuff straight is just basically not life. Why is there 600 versions of minimum of Christianity? In America and other parts of the world. How can that be when it says there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism? Of course, even the word Lord and faith and baptism are all occultic terms as well, because they transformed our original Eastern tradition into an occultic type that is not true. It's not. It's part true, and then it's part not true. It's and not correct. Part correct, but not all correct, and therefore misleading.
Yeah.
And so to be misled down the path of truth, when we are wanting nothing other than to be good spirits, to be good don't want to be a steward, because stewards are take care of pigs. There's another one, Middle English dictionary. So we don't want to be good stewards. We want to be responsible individuals, corporation. I have to figure out what word to use now. But you know what I mean. That we want to put on the light. We want to make it a better world. Certainly by our own character. We don't want to. I got Shannon calling in, but Shannon, if you're listening, okay, let me tell her I got to call her. Hang on, I'll take it.
Okay. Okay, and we are live. I don't know if it's Skype or if it's on his phone, but if it's on Desert's phone, I can't.
Are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was just filling in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Shannon and DC calling. Now I've got to hang up because I can't do this three-way. She's going to text me her number. We're going to bring her on and have a little conversation real quick with the wonderful Sky Watcher out there in DC, Shannon. Okay, so I'm going to call me right back. I got to engage the feature by a call back. Okay.
Okay. Will do.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm just writing down the numbers so we can do the three-way, okay? So keep talking while I do.
Okay. I'm running out of things to talk about. Yeah. Okay.
Dane, can you sing and dance?
I can, but it's 2 a.m. and I don't sing and dance at 2 a.m.
Not doing too good at that time, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So let me, while you keep talking and singing and dancing, I'm going to go ahead and bring what's her YouTube here? Her YouTube is.
Okay. Well, I can tell.
My river runs to him. So let me go back out of here, and I'll be right back. Give me just 1 minute.
Okay. Right. I'm just going to tell a little story that backs up what Desert's been saying during the stream regarding life experience. The past few days have been really challenging. My life is a roller coaster when it comes to looking after Mum. She has, for example, say 3 bad days and then 1 good one. And yesterday was an all-time low, really bad. I won't go into details, but Mum was stuck on a loop, endless loop, repeating loop all day yesterday, and I couldn't take it anymore. And yeah, it was pretty bad. Even when we got past being fed up with each other, I had to keep listening to Mum apologising over and over again on an endless loop. But anyway, it was pretty bad. And I'm learning with Desert's teachings to show appreciation and be thankful for those days where it's very challenging, because it does bring you closer to the light and to the truth. It opens your eyes up a little bit more each time and makes you a little bit stronger each time. And because of because I can't really get into a routine with anything, I can't plan anything, I can't organise anything because of my commitment to Mum. I find it really hard to regularly reprogram myself. And so I made the effort after yesterday. I realised I was spiralling, and I made the effort, and today finally, because Sundays seem to be the hardest day to get through, and finally I had I wouldn't say completely relaxing, but a much easier Sunday than I've had in quite a long time. So I'm very grateful for that. So, how's it going, Desert?
So that's good. Well, Shannon got disconnected, so we have to try. You have to bring me back again so I can get the feature on this crazy technology, and then we'll try one more time. So we'll give her one more shot because that's very nice. Shannon is a wonderful, friend of the Forbidden History series, so we'd love to hear from her. So
it's been a while. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, take 2. Okay, calling Desert back. I just hit the wrong button on my phone, so it won't be a moment.
Okay, Ninja, we're gonna do this thing, okay?
Okay.
So I'll be right back.
Okay. I just don't want to. I can't think of anything else to talk about. I'm not singing and dancing, Desert. Not yet, anyway. I haven't got anything prepared.
You were singing and dancing. I heard you.
Oh, really? Really? Okay.
Right back.
Okay. What else can we talk about? Ninja's laying on Desert's Etymological dictionary. So I can't get any ideas from there. He's laying on both copies, actually. It's quite cozy.
We're back.
Okay, good.
Alright. So, oh, geez, wait a minute. She got dropped again.
Really?
She keeps getting... Yeah, she's texting me.
It's just the way, yeah.
Let me just tell her...
It's one of those nights, one of those mornings, whatever. Desert, yeah. By the sounds of it.
Oh, this is so sad. She don't have Skype.
I do, funnily enough, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That don't help.
Don't help. No.
All right. I'll just tell her good try anyway.
Yeah. It would have been good. Yeah. So at least we tried. At least you tried. Yeah. And hi Shannon. Sorry it didn't work. You right? You good?
Okay. Yeah, she's probably listening in. Shannon, we'll talk later. We certainly can talk later on, and we'll get our system worked out here. We're doing it on a song, a wing, and a prayer.
Yeah, we can.
Everybody out there is our prayer. They got all the money. We don't have any money.
We can try again on another.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we can try again on another stream. So it's all good.
Yeah. The information we're trying to convey here is relevant truth to our journey. We got the long walk. You see, we're eternal beings. We are beings that have no end. Our spirit goes on forever. There is no end. There is no death in the sense of our spirit. The death that was referred to in the scriptures in the beginning, when it says, you do this thing, you're going to die. Okay, you know that, right? And well, the question is, did they die physically? No. They didn't die physically. They lived to be for another 1,000 years. They died spiritually.
They died
so the
spiritually,
death is our alienation, our being alien to the one who made us, not knowing him, and therefore being in a nothing left but the matrix of illusions, and where there's nothing but the weeping and crying and clenching of teeth and sorrow and pain and a roller coaster. And I guess that's why I never liked roller coasters. I've been on a couple of them. But,
funnily enough.
And she says, I'll look in the Skype. We've just gonna say hey and catch up. Yeah, well, that's great. I'd love to hear how you're doing, okay? And anyway, and I don't know if that's the problem is on my phone or if it's on on the other end.
Yeah, so I don't know, because it's worked. I know it's worked before. We've done it before. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we've done that. So so we have to hear things that we've never heard before, and we've got to go to if we want to interpret the scriptures, then there's only really one qualified for that, and that is Philo, who grew up in Alexandria, Egypt, at the time of Yeshua. He met there with the 7 sages. Yeshua did after he was tested in the temple in Hierapolis. You've got to read the original gospel, which is the misnomered as the Aquarian gospel. In there is the story. Philo is mentioned in our New Testament scriptures also, and historically in the other writings. And so this is what has been stolen from us. But so in here, before I get to the part I was going to read, I found the part. Remember last time we talked, I said I found the area where it says that the 6 days of creation were not literal 24-hour periods. Okay, so I'll read this down real quick. And that therefore the 6, as I claim, you find it in the word itself, the word period, which is the yud is the dot, and the peri means that which is fat, like Perry Mason. The Mason got fat off of shystering everybody off from their money, So sure I can get you free. I can get you out of this. Don't worry. You just got to give me $10,000. You get $10,000, you go to jail anyway. That's your Perry Mason. The Mason's getting fat off the people. And so, or a pear, you see a pear in a pear tree, and how come why do they call it a pear? Because it takes 2 to get fat like that, right? Symbolically in relationship, you get fat when you get pregnant. And so the pear is symbolic of the pregnancy, and there's the peri again, the peri, and so that's how the root, the Indo-Germanic root comes forward. You see, and so it was 6 great periods. Obviously, if you look at nature, come on, anybody can look at Earth. You got to close your eyes real hard and real tight to tell me that this Earth isn't, a couple billion years old. Because when you go to Utah or go to some other these great monument, the national monument parks where they have all of it, you can tell that the Earth is ancient. And then you look at the side of the walls in the Grand Canyon, and the geology that created that.
Yeah.
There was an inland sea,
an
inland sea that created that a long time ago, that carved out the first phase of it, and then the rest of it just continued to erode. But the geological evidence of the age of this Earth is so phenomenal, and it shows the greatness of the spirit of life. That the guy that always was and always will be, right? The one, the great spirit, the Yahweh, misnomered as Yahweh. And certainly falsely called Jehovah. That's a good one from the Greek. Jupiter. That what was his hurry? Why did he have to? Wait a minute, I got to look at my watch. Okay, I got to get this thing done in 6 24-hour periods. When the truth is that the obvious evidence of the age of our Earth and of our solar system and of our the galaxies, what it took to put it all together is billions of years, and in fact, even interestingly, 6 billion years, 6 great periods is the reflection of what the 6 stands for. And interestingly enough, because this was common knowledge to the ancients, interestingly enough, even the Mayans in their Mayan calendar claimed that the Earth was made in 6. The entire process came to where we are today in 6 billion years. And it was Ian Zell Lungold, who brought this interpretation together with a scientist, Scandinavian scientist. They were both studying on their own, and then together they pieced together the mysteries of the Mayan calendar and the story that that goes along with it. It's just information is constantly being taken away from us, but we have that mind of reason, and to end with where I was starting, one has to close their eyes really hard to try to tell me this Earth is only, the most absurd statement is that they're even still claiming it's only 5,000 years old. They don't even get the timeline in the scriptures for, when the patriarchs came and when the flood occurred and what happened and how much time was there before the flood, the great flood of the Mediterranean Sea. That's still there on the map, the sea in the middle of the land. But they actually got people still thinking that the Earth is only 5,000 years old, when at least it was, 8 to 10,000 years when Adam, came on Earth, that which was made first, the first man that came last as the Aryan race. It was 8 or 10,000 years ago when that happened, and they're still trying. They still got the Twinkies thinking that it was 5,000 years ago when the Earth was made. So it's amazing how nobody challenges these statements. Well, of course not. You see it on a documentary. Who can challenge it? They're creating all the narratives.
Yeah.
We're just. I want to go watch a film and get expired. I have to watch these stupid documentaries where the first 10 or a dozen things they come right out with is all a bunch of lies. So I study the documentaries just to hear the false narratives. Because that's all I can do. I get little inspiration from them because it's all controlled by the occult haters. Just like I've just been watching the Patterns of Evidence produced by Tim Mahoney, and this was an outstanding work. And I don't want to lose my thought now where I was going with that. Just the fact that the timeline was shifted on when the Exodus occurred, and the Exodus happened in the Middle Kingdom period. But when they bump up the claim that Exodus happened not 1,500 years ago, or excuse me, 1500 BC, 1450, 1500, give or take 50 years, and then it was instead 1200 BC. Well, then they say, well, there's no evidence for the Exodus, nor for the conquering of Canaan's land. Well, of course not, because it didn't happen then. It happened 300 years earlier, you see? And so the sedimentary layers that they're looking at and the other forms of evidence, so they're denying. So literally, the so-called Israelis are in the process of destroying the narrative, even though they're claiming to be of the Old Covenant. They're really following the Babylonian Talmud, and they're destroying all the narratives. That's why everybody, who's looked at Ron Wyatt's films, knows that the real Saudi, Mount Sinai is in Saudi Arabia, and yet the liars are still, they never, they're not going to watch that video, because they got to keep the false narratives going. So it's such a shell game that is being perpetrated on the the victim, which is the stupid people that just aren't going to study hard. They're not going to take the time, or some of them sincerely are strung out and working too hard, like yourself, Ninja. But moms without dads in their family, or they're just living near poverty, and so they hardly have time to get the luxury of study and watching documentaries. And so instead, whenever they can finally get a documentary to watch, then they're being fed all the papal bull.
Yeah. I can't complete anything. Like I love all of this research, and I just want to completely indulge myself in it, and I start something and I can never get back to it. So I've got all these started things, like all these readings. Yeah, sorry?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I've just, like, all these readings, like, all I want to do all day while I'm looking after Mum is to get the chance to read something. But I know if I get something out and start reading it, I'll probably get one sentence read and then it'll get put aside. And so I've started reading so many things and they get put aside. And the documentaries can take up to a week to complete, or I'll watch the start of one and then never get back to it because I've moved on to something else. And yeah, so it just feels like I should be further ahead in the studying part of it than what I am. But
That's exactly how I feel.
I'm actually relieved to hear you say that. But yeah, so I really appreciate your constant reminders to not let it get to me, and know that it's all about knowing from the heart, and putting in as much effort as I can at this time. And thank you. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a work. We're we're just you know, trying to pick up the pieces. It's all been fragmented, and so it's never been worse because we got a bunch of lies and deception coming at us, controlling all the narratives of all the documentaries, and then all of our translations have been altered on the sacred altar of Baal, and then so it's a miracle. It's a miracle, you know, that one will be able to transcend this world. That's why there is, you know, it's not a passive thing. It's an aggressive thing. What does one scripture say? That he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him.
Yeah.
Okay, a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And so, so it is. It's an absolute. In other words, that would be the serious character that would, you know, that every time, all their free time, everything they got, they're dedicating to him, and also, you know, serving their fellow man, of course, because that goes hand in hand. We're all made in the image, you know, of the great light of the Father, and therefore we're of a higher order. That word Aisha, you know, means royal eye, and we are the Faisha is the face of the sun. That's the Faisha, the creative royal eye is what Faisha means, the creative. So Aisha is the royal eye. Faisha, that's where we get the word fasci, by the way. Rather interesting. The word fasci, you know, is right there. And but the Faisha is the face, the creative face of the sun, the royal eye that we see. Even though it's an orb, it's round. I wonder if the flat Earth think the sun is flat on its face.
No, actually, the theory, I can answer that. The theory is that the moon and the sun are inside the dome.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've heard it.
And they
yeah, I got it.
They move around.
I'm just joking. I can't resist it sometimes, you know, because
okay.
Well, you know, the evidence of all, you know, it would be like saying, okay, look at all the, you know, the stars, the planets, the moons, everything, and they're all round.
Yeah.
But for some strange reason, the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
You know, it just they can't reason properly, and it's really funny.
Like a 2D picture. We're in a 3D reality, but the flat Earth perception is like a 2D picture, two-dimensional.
I don't want to lose my train of thought here.
Yeah, sorry.
I think I may have Freddie. That's all right. Yeah, so I forgot where I was going with that. So let's go to the 6 days now. Back to that. That was a long journey just to get back to the 6 days. So yeah, we're in Philo, this book of generations of the heaven and earth. So heaven is a code. So this is the book of generations of the sun, earth, and moon would be the correct. When you see it like heaven and earth, it's typically sun, earth, and moon. So I've got to decode when I read because the Baal means master, and we find that all the so-called Jews who claim to be Israel call themselves Baal, Shem, Baal, this, Baal, that, and it means master. So they're calling themselves Baal. That's kind of a tip-off of what they're following, right? I mean, give me a break. And yet they claim to be of the pure tradition of Abraham Haim. You know, that's bull for Baal, and Baal for bull. And so in this book of the generations of the sun, earth, and moon when they were created, this is perfect reason, which put in motion in accordance with the number 7, because 6 is the symbol of the Fibonacci unfolding of creation, this Fibonacci sequence, right? You know about that, right, Ninja? Fibonacci number creation?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So 1
I
plus
just had
1
to think for a second.
is
Yeah,
2.
sorry.
Then you add the last 2 numbers, so 2 plus 1 is 3.
Yeah.
Then 3 plus 2 is 5.
Yeah.
5 plus 2 is 7.
Yeah.
Right? And or 5 plus 3 is 8. Excuse me. So anyway, that's how I'm just doing off the top of my head. But so number 6, where it says 6 is the number of creation. Well, interestingly enough, is also a symbol for the Fibonacci unfolding of the curl of the wave in the ocean, the spiral of the stars in the galaxy. Everything is operating on Fibonacci, and so being the beginning of the creation of that mind, which was arranged accordingly to the ideas, and also the sensation arranged according to the ideas, and perceptible only by the intellect. Perceptible only by the intellect. Okay, this is where we've got to learn to see with new eyes, the inner eye. If one can speak in such a manner, that is, and Moses calls the Eshavor, the Word of God, the Eshavor of the Great Elohim, a book, in which it has come to pass that the formations, and the word is probably scroll, actually, there's the Fibonacci again, he calls it the scroll, because the word book didn't exist back then, it was the zero, which, as it has come to pass that the formations of other things are written down and engraved. But lest you should imagine that the deity does anything according to definite periods of time, in other words, locked in 24-hour periods, in other words. Well, you should rather think that everything done by him is inscrutable in its nature, uncertain, unknown to the average, and incomprehensible by most, if not all, the race of mortal men. Moesha'ul adds the Eshavors, when they were created, not defining the time when by any exact limitation, for what has been made by the author of all things has no limitation. And in this way, the idea is excluded. The idea is excluded that the universe was created in 6 24-hour days. Case closed. Get the picture?
Wow.
It's symbolic. And the likelihood it was 6 great periods, which would be then 6 billion years, which makes sense. He's not going anywhere. He's in no hurry. And it shows the great patience he also has with us. Right?
Yeah.
That patience,
yeah,
right?
Good point.
Patient.
Yeah.
As all get at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let me see if there's any more on this part I want to add. I didn't want to forget this. I mentioned it on the last program. So so that's that. And now let me pull forward to. I'm trying to do 2 pages a day in Philo. It's like it's quite a bit of content. It's usually about a 30-minute to 45-minute read, depending upon how deep it goes. And I've got to read slow, got to focus, and I got to transliterate the code because the Paul Schultz did a number on Philo. And this is a great tragedy. You see, so when other people would even get Philo and start reading it, they're not privy to the code. They wouldn't think, they wouldn't lie to me. They wouldn't lie to me, would they? No. Yeah, they will. They're lying to us right from day one. And so this is why, again, this is important for me to read and then show the code as I'm reading, because then it helps everybody. Oh, I remember that they said the word heaven is a code. That's right.
Yeah.
It's the even.
Yeah.
It's the evening. It's darkness. Oh, I mean, heaven is darkness. Woo. And so this is how
we need you to keep repeating it so that we can get it. And
the repetition is important.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Let's see how long we've been on. I don't have my timer on anymore.
Okay, it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This I think is a good time for a break, and because I'm on a roll. Then I'm going to go on a roll, and this will be on. What we're going to talk about are the 2 men in the garden. Okay, and it's talking about therefore the physical nature and the mind. Two creation.
Okay.
Remember, as I said on the other over and over, there's 2 of you, and one of you has to die so that one of you can live, right?
Yeah.
And so now we're going to have to Philo define the duality within our own nature, and this was really great last night. This is great, and we'll end up with the river of life, which flows out of the sun, and how these are not literal rivers. Okay, these are we got this group of people in creating documentaries saying we found the Garden of Eden and the 4 rivers, and wait a minute, there were 2 gardens, and it said that he took Adam out of the Eden and placed him into the garden. So if he took him out of Eden and placed him into the garden, how can they be looking for the Garden of Eden on earth? You see?
Yeah.
And because that's the real paradise. That's the Garden of the Atoms. That's the sun. That's the atom. The symbol of the atom is the sun. It is the Garden of Atoms. And we came from the light. All of our creation came out of that. You see? And this is part of the great mystery. So the river of light, the river of life, flows out of the sun, continuously nourishing us. You see? And so that's the cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be back in about 5 minutes or no more than 6 certainly.
I'll put your little break on with the flute. That's about 7.
Okay.
Almost 7 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Woohoo!
All right.
Can't wait. Can't wait for part 2.
All right. Part 2 coming up next. Thank you, Mister.
Okay, guys, we'll be back in a minute.
Don't forget
Sorry.
Well, you're tuned in right here to the Forbidden History Chronicles on Ninja Cat 111, and it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, right, Ninja?
Right. Does it? Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
And heads up from Shannon. We'll be right back, Shannon. Thank you for being with us today, and everybody else, of course. All right.
Okay. We'll be back in a second. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles with Ninja Cat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. Please go check out his YouTube channel. All necessary links are in the description. Welcome back, Desert. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Absolutely. Thank you. And great work, you know. This technology is not for me. Just,
me neither.
yeah. I just had a sip of my JavaScript, and it went down real nice. And but here we are back in Philo, and we're going to talk about two men in the garden. What's that all about? The other day, when we did a program, I may have been 2 programs ago, we read about actually 4 men in the garden, because
really?
it had to do when. Well, yeah, I touched on it. I vaguely remember, and it was in Philo, because he was there talking about another aspect of this creation when Adam was taken up into the throne of the sun, when he was taken up into the Eden, which correctly is the Atom, the A-T-O-M.
Yeah.
And so this great mystery, you know, this mystery of what Adam represents. Remember the word, we found out that when it said that the serpent was more subtle, which the serpent is the Naga, and the Naga is the navigator, and the navigator is the, is actually Adam, because he named all things. If he named all things, well, don't give me a break. He knew about how everything operated. He was there with Yeshua when he was making all things, and then it said that Naga was more subtle. But I looked up the word subtle and found out it was the Abraham, and realized that they took the first part out, which is the Z, and it's the Zabram, and therefore the word, is the word sovereign. That's where the word sovereign comes from Adam himself.
Yeah.
He was the Zabram, because, and this is where the knowledge of the Watchers came from. You know, they could create anything they could imagine. They could create it. You know, and they created the pyramid civilizations. We see the polygonal walls, structures all around the world, from Italy to Greece to Bolivia, Peru, Maitar, falsely called Egypt. You know, all around the world we've got polygonal structures with walls. You can't even put a razor blade in between, the wall, the cracks of the wall. This defies our ability. It's like they said, hey, let's build something, but let's try to make it as hard as we can possibly make it. Let's make it as difficult as we could ever imagine, and they did it. They did stuff that we can't even figure out why they would want to do it, like that. But it's because they had a mind ability. They had the ability, and so that's the Zavram. So clearly, these people that could lift stone we can't lift today, and could cut stone we can't cut today, and can do all the great engineering that they achieved, as we see the evidence of around the world. We know that they were sovereign in their own right. They were a sovereign, that these, of course, the legacy we're seeing in this global civilization, this one world, old world order, the pyramid civilization that spanned the planet around the globe, was the fallen ones. Because this was not the pure line that come through Abraham Haim or Abraham, but we're the fallen ones that wanted to dominate the world. So they are the ones we see the remnant structures of. We were not. But so this creation that was going to come out of it, that we're now in today in our modern time, is a result of that knowledge and the Aryan race. The phone in my hand, the computer, book publishing, everything, the buildings, the structures, everything, the sciences, the technologies, all of it is a result of these ancient ones that had this the knowledge that was passed on to them from their father, the Adam, the dam. So before I get into Philo, I just wanted to find a few words that I had in front of me here, and so because now I'm going there. So the dam, so Adam, these are the elements of the name Adam. You see, because and it's noteworthy. Okay, it is noteworthy. As you know, I say that when Adam is being called he's made from red earth. And I say, no, that's the false narrative. It's that he's the blood of the earth. He was made from the fiery magma, the first made man, and then therefore to all subsequent races as well. All the other races having their own Adam and Eve would also have been made from the fiery magma. That's the way the Elohim created. Unlike all other life on earth that evolved, man was created. He's a foreigner. His spirit, the spirit that's breathed into him by degree, according to Elohim, is the duality, because we are a creature of conscious reasoning, and therefore that sets us apart from all other creation on earth. We are a foreign creation, but yet still made by Elohim, and therefore still having the potential for the imperfection until we unfold in the plan of the Moashiach, Yeshua. Once we follow him, then we can put on the perfection. The perfect man, or the perfect creation, is the intention. It's the intention of the Great Spirit of Yahweh. But first, the imperfect, that which is imperfect, had to come first. Other than the first made, Atom, because the first made Adam was perfect, is perfect, and that is Yeshua. He is all things. And this is also obviously the great mystery. It's such a mind boggler. But the beauty of this is that it is possible to know. You see, that's the beauty, where it said there's nothing unknown that cannot be known. There's nothing in secret that cannot be revealed. There's nothing hidden that cannot be revealed. Our omniverse universe was designed to be read, and microcosm, macrocosm. Okay, the sun represents the atom. The sun is the Garden of Atoms. There's nothing in it but pure, virgin atoms flowing down in the form of light, enriching and maintaining the fabric of life on Earth. We cannot. It'd be over in a heartbeat if the sun stopped shining on us right now. So this is a great mystery. So the Adam, with the D, not the T, not the atom, but the Adam, he's the duplicate. This is called the duplication. The Adam, so he has death in him. That's why he's got a D in his name instead of a T. Not the Adam, but the Adam.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
All right? So symbolism, you got to know the code.
Yep.
And so, but they took the H off of Adam. It's really Hadam. Hadam, Hadom, and sometimes spelled Hadam. Then they have two different meanings. You notice one is a dam and one is a dome. They are both relative. Okay, but the Hadam is the HA, the first HA is the, then the DOM is the second word. So it's the dome, the dam. You see, they got us to put the emphasis on the wrong letter, and that's the trickery that they played on us. Because it is the light bringing forth the creation, and the light and the breath are in the first two letters, creating the word the. Ha. The ha. Hadon. Hadam. So the breath and the light brings forth the dam, brings forth the dome. And so what is the dome? Well, the dome is a prime root of the word home. We can even see the OM is right in there, and the H is in front of it. Ha'om. Ha'om. The Om, the place of sound. The place of sound and of judgment. And that's what dome represents, because we see the dome on the courthouse, the dome on the Capitol buildings. It represents the earth, and it means that which is round, not flat, that which is round, the dome, is the place of judgment. This is where it's happening. This is where it's going on, and we have to define things as they really are, or we're dead. Okay?
Yeah, so, I have questions, but I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The first one is still fresh in my mind. I just thought when you were talking just then, question came to my head. Does sound exist anywhere else? Like, does sound only exist in this physical reality? are you able to answer that?
Well, that's what the Om is about. The Om is the place of the sound, and the sound is happening here on Earth. It's not on the moon. What is in the throne of the sun, when we talk about the throne of the sun being the place of origin, it's of a higher order, and therefore what that represents. In other words, that as it says, Yahweh is seated on the throne of the sun, the earth is his footstool, but we know that that's in other words, it's not like a group of people inside the heart of the sun. We don't know that mystery. We don't know how that plays out. To me, I see it as a 0 point, and when we go through the other side, we're not even in this universe anymore. It's outside of the universe, because the universe is dominated by the darkness.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering. Is there sound there? Is there sound there? Is it just completely something we can't even comprehend?
You remember, it's on a mental plane. It's higher order.
Yeah.
Sound that creates physical reality is on a lower plane.
Yeah.
It's on a lower plane, a lower consciousness. So that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Kind enough?
Kind of. Yes, kind enough.
Okay.
I do have another one. Goes back to the technology and the huge buildings back then, when you were talking about that and the way they were made. The documentary that I was watching, that I still haven't finished watching, but anyway, the documentary that I was watching the other night mentioned that Egypt, sorry, I know that's the wrong word, Egypt was the only place with the carvings and the hieroglyphs and the writings, so that's where they went to figure out the timelines. Is that because I don't know how to word it. Is that because it was created by the Aryans, the stonemasons? That just makes sense to me. So they've carved everything in stone, and if so, could they have deliberately carved inaccurate records to make it harder to figure things out? I guess that's...
Well, they certainly manipulated the records.
Ninja, don't walk on the computer, please. Sorry, the cat's walking on the computer.
Yeah, in the origin, the writings may have been speaking... Well, it's hard to make a general statement, because when they lost victories, they wrote that they won victories. So the manipulation is there. So that's all we need to know. And then modern scholarship doesn't want us to acknowledge Yahweh. They hate Yahweh. They hate the one who made all things. They hate the light. They hate the sun. They pretend to be the light, but they hate the light. And so that's why, like in Masonry, they call themselves the widow's son. You see, their mother is a widow because they killed the father. They hate the father.
Yeah.
The father of light.
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Back at it?
Yeah. So please continue. Yeah.
All right. So Adam and Adam. Then the dam, as we see in the way it's typically spelled, A-D-A-M, the dam means the buildup. And so in that sense, the dam is, as we know, like an earthen dam to create to back up the water. You pile dirt on top of dirt and rocks, and then you get a dam.
Yeah.
Well, the dam is the buildup. And so he's called the dam because he's a buildup of the mineral wealth of the earth. The fiery magma is the dam.
Yeah.
It's the buildup. And then when we call him Adam, the dome is the judgment, because the dome is the place of judgment, the courthouse or the capitol or the earth, which is round. And so that's the dome. And so that's the place of judgment. Dome means judgment. And then it also means the sovereign creation. Why? Because dome is the prime root of dominant. dominion,
Oh, wow.
domestic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Domain, right? In fact, what do they call those structures, those rock structures they find all over the world? They call them dolums, right? But they're called dolums, and so it implies the reason they make them, it was they were marking the place. As you used the term, that symbol of the Cairo in the beginning, the Cairo also could have been on some of the rock formations, or even on the bark of the tree, as a symbol. But and that's how it happened later on in time, especially. But those were dolums, and dolum, you take out the L, and you get dome.
Yeah.
You see, it's the same word. And so then we see the word also in Adama. He's called Adam, and Adama means earth. But of course, we know he was made from the purified minerals and salts of the earth, from the breast. The volcano is the symbol of the breast of the woman, the Mother Earth. And so what do you do when you want to make steel? You need some adamant. Okay. So they throw a little adamant into the process of making steel, and it helps in the process. So they even call that the adamant. So and then people can look that up and and learn more about that if they want to. So that's Adam. So then we as I have proven over and over about the word abbreviations. Okay, so what's this thing about Sodom and Gomorrah? Sodom, and it became so clear now that it now tells the story when you put the pieces back together. The word is not Sodom. It is Eshadom. Here's the two primary words, that I've been dealing with. We got the man who's called Adam, A-D-O-M, as I said.
Yeah.
And then we have the word Esha. And so within the word Sodom being correctly restructured according to the original, Eshadom, it is Esha and Adam combined. The Esha, the royal eye of judgment, is what Eshadom means. Now you tell me, if when Sodom is destroyed, if that wasn't the royal eye of judgment. That's what Eshadom means.
I cannot tell you that it wasn't the royal eye of judgment. I cannot tell you that. Yeah, I agree.
See, in other words, the point is that it had to be destroyed.
Yeah. In
other words, it became a symbol. It was a symbol of something. And because it was such a beautiful paradise, that the people down there became wicked. They didn't have to labor because everything was provided for them. And so what do you do when you got too much spare time? You start doing stupid stuff, thinking stupid stuff. And therefore, they became a wicked culture down there in paradise. And when you read the book of Yeshar, or Jasher, then you learn more about what happened down there. It was so mind-boggling what they did down there. And so literally, what Eshadom implies in the story, because it means the royal eye of judgment, it is the royal eye of creation. In other words, Eshadom represents the earth. Adam represents the earth. Esha is the royal eye. You are a royal eye. I am a royal eye. The sun is a royal eye. We were made by the great Elohim, which is represented by the royal eye, the fascia of the sun, the atom. So this creation that came out was in the fall. And because it is in the fall, it has to be destroyed, and that's why we have to become the second born. Because the first creation, the firstborn, is in the fall, in the error. And so literally, that's what Eshadom implies when we see it being destroyed by the gases of the earth, the methane or whatever came out of the ground to explode in the lowest point of the earth, 1,000 feet below sea level. The royal eye of creation had to be destroyed, and that's what Eshadom represents. You see, obviously the name is relevant to the story of Sodom. If you don't have the original word, you don't get the picture that Sodom represented the earth and creation itself. man. You see? Ashadom. A-S-H-A-D-O-M. Two words combined, Asha and Adam. The royal eye of Adam. Because he was supposed to come down here and to bring truth to mankind. And what did he do? He lied to his wife. You ain't gonna die, honey. Just listen to me, okay? This is gonna be great, okay? Everything's all right. No, didn't Great Elohim say we were gonna die? No. You see, he lied because he was enticed. He wanted her.
Yeah.
And therefore, so of course he was sorry afterwards, obviously, and he because of the grace of the Father, because he knew that this would happen. They were designed for the fall. The fall occurred before it even got here.
Yeah.
Creation itself is the fall. So they were just creating a drama. It was a play that represented what nature is about. It is of a lower form of creation. And therefore, what Sodom represents in the true word, Ashadam, means the royal eye of creation had to be destroyed. And that's, what you see in the story over and over. In Meitzar, the firstborn all died, right? In the judgment.
Yeah.
During the Exodus.
Yeah.
The firstborn of all the people, and even the cattle, even the animals, died. And so it was a symbol of, and so if all the firstborn are died, theoretically everybody else is dead too, right? In theory, because because you can't have life without the firstborn, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my jaw's on the floor again. Yeah, I'm agreeing. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So you see, so you only had to kill the firstborn
Yeah.
to get the symbol of the picture.
Yeah.
They didn't have to kill everybody. The firstborn are dead. There is no more creation, and so that's what it symbolized in the story. And so we see that over and over again. Esau, who is correctly Ashayah, he was the firstborn. He sold his birthright for a bowl of vegetables. Okay, he sold his birthright for vegetables and soup because he was famished. And so again, the firstborn of Abraham was born of a slave. All right, Ishmael, he wasn't entitled to the inheritance. It was his firstborn in Asherah, Sarah, but it was his second-born seed, and it was with his wife, natural wife, and therefore he was called Isaac Ashayah. So both of them had the word Asha, but one was not going to receive the inheritance, and only the second-born received the inheritance. You see? So this is part of the great mystery and how we have to interpret these stories. These stories were given to us to be read subliminally, but they are saying.
Yeah.
And nobody.
Sorry. I do see. Like we can all relate to them. Like today with current events, I'm the firstborn and I'm not entitled to anything. So I'm finding out. Yeah. It's the same over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's on the modern end, but the point is that I'm saying we're talking about the fall of creation and destruction of Sodom.
I'm just relating to it. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. We can certainly know that what you're going through is the evidence of the problem that has always remained, because that's the lower nature of the world.
Yeah.
That's why we will come to a higher order in the Moeshiach, in Yeshua. We come to a higher order, and therefore now when somebody wants to hurt me, they're no longer hurting me because I know the truth.
Yeah.
And therefore I know they're the scapegoat. They're the one with the problem, and therefore I can pray for them. Because I have to do what the Scripture says. And so it says, love those who hurt you, love your enemies, do good to them, and they will suffer. And the more you do good to them, the more they're going to suffer, because you are creating the cause and effect within their life. And with the contrary, being contrary in nature, which in nature everybody wants to pay somebody back, or they want to revolt or retaliate, but we don't, because we are of a higher order. We know the truth. The truth that everybody in this world that is doing something wrong is blind, and they're in the fall. And so all we can do is we have to lift ourselves up out of the fall first. And after we do it, we can show them the way it is done. Because we can't, like it says, you know, you can't help somebody take the speck out of their eye when you got a boulder in your eye. You got to get the boulder out of your eye first, and then you can help somebody else out. Okay? And one more word, then we're going to get to the story before I lose my voice here.
Okay.
As I was reading in one of the books yesterday, I don't remember which was, but the story of Haram, and there's the Ha again, and Ram. And so Haram literally means, I saw the definition, the forbidden place. So we see the word Aram there, and there's the word for Avram, the prime root of Abraham, or Avram. And so it's literally the place where Abraham and Sarah were, where they were buried. Where Abraham and Sarah were buried. It was called Haram, and it means the forbidden place. So nobody goes there. They put a wall around it, and it's kept to protect their bodies if they're still there. I question that, but nonetheless, it's called the forbidden place. But yet, in the word Haram, there's the two words again, the H-A and then R-A-M, the ram.
Yeah.
So the meaning of the word is the forbidden place. So what is the forbidden place? It is Haram, the ram. And the ram is the prime symbol of the sun.
Oh, yep.
And that's what
Yep. Yep. Well.
And
Yep.
that's the forbidden place.
Yep.
That's the forbidden place that we talk about.
Wow, Desert. I was seeing that as you were saying it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So what does that mean, the forbidden place? Because the ancients knew that was the place that burns with fire, and we can't even look at it. Don't even look at it because And so they knew that life came out of the light, but yet it was the place you couldn't even look at, and that's why the moon was embraced in the ancient time, because the moon was a softer, gentler light, like the mother, versus the father. Because the father, we all know as little ones, he's always, Dad's going to beat me. Come on, Mom, save me. And so the father is the tough guy, and the mother is the gentle and softer. So the moon, in this instance, is represented by the female as the moon. But the fire of the father, I don't want Dad to get me, the father, the fire. And so it's the forbidden place. It's the place. That's why when they said to Yeshua in the midnight trial, they said, are you claiming to be the seed of the sun? That's what they said, not son of God, the seed of the sun. And he says, I am. And you will see the sunrise in the clouds of the sky. And then, and I can't, I'm doing a lousy job of paraphrasing now, but the point is that the sun was, they all claim to be of the moon, the softer, the seed of the moon, that's son of man. Son of man is the code for seed of moon. Because they knew the great light, was no man's land. That, we can't go there, we'd be burned up, we'd be killed because we're not worthy. It's beyond us. It's the no man's land. So they knew it was the origin of creation, but the narrative got corrupted because of the superstition and the propaganda, priesthoods, all of these things combined. That's why they hate Yahweh, because and the light, because they're in the darkness. They want to stay in the darkness. Hey, it's a big party. Lots of free food and women and whatever else you want, commerce, drugs, whatever. So they love the darkness and hate the light. And so he got killed for being a representative of the light, and he sure did. He sure did a good job of revealing the light, and also therefore light exposes the darkness, and he did a good job of exposing their darkness. Okay, so there you go, Haram, and there we find in there, the relative terms of Aishan and Avram. All of these words are in there, and it's this is the Indo-Germanic. This goes beyond the Greek and the Hebrew, because if you get these concordances and you look at them, they've abbreviated these words. They even hid the original word for light, and they only gave it one time, and it's in the book of Esther. Okay, and this is typical of what they do. Just like the word Torah is a misnomer, and that represents the bull, creation.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was Azor, Zorain, and Zorain, and also Zoram. Zoram would be another aspect of that. But the Zorain, you can see the Zor is what is up high, and what comes down. What comes down is the rain, the Zorain. But it also means the light, because light is regarded as a duality of water. And And that's why when we talk about the river that's coming up next now, let me take a...
I can't wait.
Give me a 2-minute break, give out my information again, and I can be geared up. I'm almost wearing down here.
Okay. Okay, well, Desert, creating light for Desert's throat, by the way, so he can get through the rest of this, because I want to hear it. Okay, if you would like to donate, any size donation, towards the greatest transliterational project that we know of, nobody else is doing this. It's amazing. But anyway, if you would like to help, you can go to www.therealpublicradio.net. That's www.therealpublicradio.net. All the information is in every description on these live streams, and they all get re-uploaded after the stream. Anyway, you can go there, and there's PayPal, and you can hit the donate button. In doing that, you will receive a copy of the Real Da Vinci Code, Etymological Dictionary, also a copy of the Book of Wisdom, and a copy of a sample of the original Gospel with a more up-to-date dictionary at the back. 3 separate PDFs. If you do not have any money to donate, but you would like to check out the literature, which I highly recommend, it's a very handy reference to understand a little better. We just let us know, and we'll get them to you anyway. My email is also in the description. You can contact Desert through me. And yeah, just let me know if you want copies. I can send you the PDFs. Also, you can call Desert to have a chat. Desert's also available for interviews. You can call him on 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. Add a +1 at the start if you're international. You can also Skype Desert on Free America Radio. That's Free America Radio, all one word. Desert knows how to use Skype. I don't. Anyway, have I filled in enough? Have I filled in 2 minutes, Desert? Are you back? Are you good to go? No, he's not back yet. Okay, I highly recommend you go back to June 21st last year, 2018, on Desert's channel, the Forbidden History series. Please go back and watch from the start. Desert walks you through everything, makes it a lot easier to understand, and it's great listening to it. And Love also does some readings on there from the original Gospel in original thought, and yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, please go back and listen. Links are in the description on this live stream. I can't say enough good words about Desert's channel. It's amazing. That's why I'm doing these streams, to keep Desert on air. So yeah, you back?
You're doing it. You're doing it.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you. And I couldn't. But Skype, just because you mentioned Skype. Okay, Skype is Sky Fae. To show you, they know the meaning of these words. Skype is Sky Fae, the Fae of the sky, meaning up in the air. Even though we do it on the internet, it's still they're calling it Sky Fae.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah, there's a Sky News as well. That I noticed that Sky News. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let's roll through this thing. 2 Men in the Garden. And what's that all about? Okay, let me put my phone over here. And so, we're now reading Philo on. If you get Philo's page 30, and section 1653. And the man who he had formed, Moses says, the great Elohim placed in paradise for the present only. Okay, so I'm not sure which one this is. Is this Eden or on Earth? But it says for the present only. So it sounds like it's in the atom of the sun.
Yeah.
And he was making all things. But
that makes sense. Yeah.
See where it goes. Who then is he in reference? Who then is he in reference to whom he subsequently says that the Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, Lord God, took the man whom he had formed and placed him in the paradise to cultivate and to guard it. And so I'm not
to cultivate
sure
and to guard it.
He's referring to.
Yeah,
because it sounds like it's when he's coming out of Eden, or the atom, and into the lower garden here on Earth.
Yeah.
So must not this man who was created according to the image and idea of the great Elohim, or Yahweh, have been a different man from the other, so that the two men must have been introduced into the paradise together, the one a fictitious man, there you go, that's the flesh, the one being a fictitious creation, a false creation, and the other modeled after the true image of Yahweh, the great Elohim, and that is the mind, that is who you really are, what's invisible. You can't see it, you can't touch it, and yet it is inside of you. It's what you are, and so there's the two characters. Therefore, the man molded after the idea of the great Elohim, or Yahweh, is perceived not only amid the planting of the virtues, but besides this, he is their cultivator and guardian. Okay? So in other words, it's sort of like saying who you are is responsible to maintain your garden. Your garden is what has been given to you. That's your body, right? And remember I said that we all have the symbol of the garden in our private area, which is we call the pubic area, right? And it's a symbol. Obviously, because we don't have hair all over our body, we're not like gorillas. We're foreigners.
Yeah.
We're not clothes.
Yeah.
But yet, so the hair in that regard is a symbol, and it's hiding. It's always hiding because we always put on clothing, and therefore it is a symbol. But we never get the connection because these elements of truth were hidden from us, and so we are a reflection. We are a cosmic creation. Remember, like I said, the woman's breasts are pictures of the volcanoes that bring forth the life, right?
Yeah.
The nourishment.
Yep.
For the earth, right?
Yep. Makes sense.
So
we
are cosmic, and we represent the earth by our physical makeup, and we're supposed to read these symbols. So the garden. I mean, I didn't know we were in the garden until I was about 30 years old when I started driving truck. I was about 33, I think, and I was going all across Texas and looking at all the farms, major planting and agriculture. And then some of you realize, wait a minute, we're in the garden. It finally clicked with me, this story. But it's the lower garden. It's not the upper garden, which is called Eden, the atom, the sun of light, the garden of atoms, but the lower garden where we're at. And so your mind is the paradise, where you can have paradise, where you can have peace, where you can have knowledge, where you can have the promise of a day without end within Yeshua, or you can be subject as a slave to the passions and the emotions of the lower creation, which tells you what you've got to do. Feed me now. Oh, I want to get another joint. I want to get stoned again. I came down. I got to go back up again. It's no more fun anymore. Or what I'm saying, that the body is putting demands on us because it loves this world, loves the pleasures of this world, and it is an illusion. So, continuing here, the idea of Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, is perceived not only amid the planting of the virtues, but besides this, he is their cultivator and guardian. That's your job. That is to say, he is mindful of the things which he has heard and practiced. But the man who is factitious neither cultivates the virtues nor guards them. Factitious sounds like fractured, meaning broken in pieces, but is only introduced into opinions by the abundant liberality of this world, being on the point of immediately becoming an exile from virtue. Therefore, and therefore having never, not even being in paradise. See, we're waking up to the truth. So we have the ability to go back to the light, that we fell from. But it's in the mind. It's not physical. It's in the mind, because you can be there now. Therefore, he calls that man whom he only places in paradise factitious. But him who he appoints to be its cultivator and guardian he calls not factitious, but the man whom he had made. Okay, so that's not the physical. That's your ability to reason. That's your consciousness. That's who you are within this great mystery. That's the model. The model is in your mind. It is your mind that can save you, not your body, but your mind. Just like in Freemasonry, they say the more sex you have, the more you get closer to enlightenment or light. That's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of nonsense. It's an addiction, and it's of the world. What did the scriptures say? That I'm trying to paraphrase that if we nurture the spirit, what's the word? I want to say feed, but whatever we give our attention to, that's what we become conscious of. And if we nurture the spirit, then we find life. If we nurture the flesh, we find death. I can't paraphrase it correctly at the moment, but that's the essence of it.
Yeah, that was pretty well done anyway. Yeah.
So we have to identify with our spirit, and we have to know that therefore the knowledge of who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are is crucial to our. That's the true food. We eat 3 meals. Most people eat 3 meals a day. Then they never feed their mind. Well, that's sad because they're going to the grave. If we feed our mind, we deny ourselves a little bit of food, then maybe, we can live forever. So continuing here, the man whom he had made, and is the true man, the mind, and in him is spirit, and him he takes, but the other he casts out. So him he takes, but the other he casts out. That's the firstborn. The firstborn is the physical, and the secondborn is the mind, because you're waking up. So it must be second, right? Because you didn't know. Now you know. So there's your secondborn. It is of the mind. And him whom he takes, he thinks worthy of 3 things. And so, but I added my note here regarding the man who he had made, the true man, being of the mind, is the model and therefore the mold. Continuing here, and him who he takes, he thinks worthy of 3 things, of which perfection of nature especially consists, namely perfection, perseverance, memory, which is recall, and memory, which is recall. Now, perfection, and by the way, I'm having to transliterate, okay, because they use corrupted lesser terms.
Yeah.
It's like almost there but not there, and so that's why I said memory is correctly recall. Where instead of talking about expertness is perfection. Perseverance is okay. So 1 out of 3, is good. But the other 2, I had to correctly do the word because they're either mistranslating it by mistake or on purpose. I think more, especially on purpose, knowing the game. So I transliterate as I'm reading because I see what it's saying. I've read this several times now, and perfect natures are namely perfection, perseverance, and recall. Now, perfection is position in paradise. That's perfection. Be ye therefore perfect, for your Father is perfect. He has perfected forever those who are illuminated. Behold, we speak wisdom among those who are perfect. Perfect man offends not in word or deed. All of that's all in there in our scriptures. So memory, which is recall, is the guarding and preservation of our pure knowledge. Okay? So our ability to recall, like we talk about symbolism. The symbol is the trigger. Boom.
Yeah.
I get it. We are serpent. Shirt and pants.
Yep.
Shirt and pants. Shirt, pants. Shirt, pants. Serpent. Serpent. We are the serpent. They lied to us. Of course they would lie to us. They want us earthbound.
Yep.
They want to look at us looking at things that go bump in the night that we can't see. Okay. So perseverance is the effecting of what is perfect. The effecting of what is perfect. Finally, getting there. Doing it right. The performance of virtuous actions. Sounds like a state of mind to me that has transformed their outer being, but the factitious mind, that which is fractured, neither remembers what is perfect nor does it, but is only expert and nothing more on the lesser things, on which account, after it has been placed in paradise, in a short time afterwards it runs away and is cast down. Okay? So that's why they call your true nature the soul, right? Your soul, because it's the sun. Soul is sun. The Zor, the Zar, Azar, and it is the higher order. The head on top of your body represents the sun moving across the sky every day. You see the metaphor? Can you see it symbolically in your mind?
Yes, I can see. I think in pictures. Yes, I think in pictures, Desert. I'm picturing everything as you say it. Yeah, that's why I have such a problem speaking, I think.
Yeah, your body represents the earth, the lower nature.
Yeah.
And your head represents the solar activity of the sun.
Yeah.
The ability to see the light and reason, to be the light. To be the light. And the great Elohim, Yahweh, caused to rise out of the earth every tree, meaning every living thing, which is pleasant to the sight and perfect for nourishment, and the tree of life. He raised in the middle of paradise. Well, what's at the middle but the sun? And also the tree of knowledge, of sun and moon, of light and darkness, of good and evil, of vision and blindness. He here gives a sketch of the tree of virtue, which he plants in the shul, in the soul. Soul means knowledge. Shul is knowledge. There you go. That's light. And these are the particular virtues of the energies in accordance with them. And the perfect and the successful actions. And the things which by the philosophers are called fitting. Sounds like a milk watered down version of something. Perfect. Fitting, maybe. These are the plants of paradise. They're all everything speaking, just like I talked about the dandelion, the judgment of the lion, the judgment of light that comes down. Nevertheless, he describes the characteristics of these same trees, showing that which is desirable to behold is likewise most excellent to be enjoyed. But everything has to be defined. And, I just take a bit of my throat tonic here. Stand by.
All good.
And what do they tune into?
The Forbidden History Chronicles with Ninja Cat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. And I highly recommend you go and watch from June 21st last year, 2018. Go back to the start. I on the Forbidden History series and listen from there, because it's amazing. All links are in the description. Sorry?
What?
Sorry?
I walked over you, I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what you said at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to welcome any new listeners that are out there on the stream, and of course all of our friends that keep coming on back, and we're so grateful for it's a small group, but our friends are very special.
Yeah.
And and been with me since June 21st practically, most of them it seems, and so I'm very honored, and hope that they're getting the picture of what is going on in this great saga called life, because the wool has been pulled over our eyes, and the beauty is that the divine love is really great. You know, we grow up with images like this idea of deity is far away, and we can never get near him, and therefore like we're bad and he's good, and and so the false narratives that we've inherited are what keep us back. But if we really knew what was being offered to us, it comes at great cost.
Yeah.
It comes at great cost. You have to die to this world.
Yeah.
You have to die to it.
Yeah.
And then be born a second time, a second born. And this all is in a mystery. So it means you have to start looking at things differently. You have to start meditating and praying and searching the scriptures, and then and separating from the nonsense and the animals that are out there that are just act like animals and will eat you alive on any day of the week when they feel like it, because they're not going anywhere. They're of the darkness, and therefore they can't. Like why Yeshua says, anyone who's a friend of the world is not a friend of him. You can't be a friend of the world and a friend of him. Or if you love your parents more than him, you can't love him. So he draws a straight line in the sand, and the straight line is trying to make a statement. It's about being born a second time into another family, into another universe, into a place that is not of this world. You can't have both. You can only have one or the other. Okay? So that's where we're going here. So continuing now on Philo, for of the arts, some are theoretical and not practical, and such are geometry and astronomy, as an example. And I'm not sure just geometry is theoretical, though. It seems to me it's an exact science, but again, they could have mistranslated that. Some, again, are practical and not theoretical, such as the art of architecture, and of the smith, metallurgy, and those which are called mechanical arts. But virtue is both theoretical and practical. For it takes in theory, since the road which leads to it is philosophy, and that's a mouthful right there, because we have a lot of vain philosophy that's irrelevant to higher truth, because we can go right to the source. That's the good news. Which leads, so I'll back up. Since the road which leads to it is philosophy in three of its parts. And by the way, philosophy simply means the love of knowledge and wisdom, the love of true knowledge and wisdom, the bringing forth of knowledge and wisdom. That's all that means. It's not a bad word, as some narrow-minded Christians might think, who've been brainwashed and propagandized. The reasoning and the moral and the physical part. Okay, these are the three aspects: the reasoning, and moral is incorrect; it's ethical. The reasoning and the ethical and the physical part, because in the end, you have to. It's a cause and effect. You act based on your reasoning, right? You act based on your reasoning. I'm underlining these because I had not underlined them.
Yeah. Can I just jump in?
Jump in.
Philosophy. I don't know if this is coincidence, but philosophy starts with Philo.
You're right. It's in the name, and so Philo may not be his original quote unquote name.
Yeah.
It was called Philo Judaeus, I think it was Judaeus. So Judaeus might be his correct name, but he was, in other words, he was being called the lover of philosophy.
Okay,
he was the great philosopher.
Yeah,
See, that's why we call him Philo.
Yeah.
It means he is the philosopher.
Yeah.
Just like when we talk about the great historian Herodotus, that's not his name, okay? Herodotus literally means the hero who traveled. See, so it becomes renowned, famous. So this is very typical. Just like we talked
like
about
a nickname.
The word Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham is not a name. It is a title.
Yeah.
And it is the sovereign, the star ram, the sovereign star ram. That was Abraham. That was Adam. They were both sovereign star rams, and and I've got it down in the dictionary of Erdman's on the Bible that it is a title of the head of any tribe was called the Zavram, the star ram at the head of the tribe. Okay, so these are, again, you see, these are, nobody, conveys these messages so that we can get these pictures clearly. They gave us, a bastardized, watered down version of our scriptures. And as long as you say, Jesus loves you, yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so, then you must be saved, and don't worry, be happy, and go get lost slave, okay? We don't want to see you anymore. And that's what they do. Come here on Sunday, 45 minutes. We're going to pass the chill around twice because you're so stupid. We're going to tell you didn't put enough money in the first time, and the second time you better put more money in there, okay? Slave? Okay. And 45 minutes, don't come back till next week, all right? We don't want to hear from you. And those Jesuits and those Freemasons are just
I'm
having a party
sorry,
laughing.
I'm laughing, but I love the way you explain it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, I had a friend who was a chiropractor, and he was in one of those churches, the Kirkies, the Kirks, and the Star Trek, and he went up. So after the service, he was going up the stairs to go talk to one of the, the pastor or whoever, because he was going to ask a question. And as he got close to one of the doors, one of the rooms, he heard him inside going, okay, well, you prophesied this week, but next week you're going to prophesy, you're going to give the revelation, and, you're going to do this, and the stupid fools out there, they won't know anything anyway.
Yeah.
So, you see, he was at the right place at the right time.
Busted.
Wake up.
Yep.
It's all Masonic. That's why there's 600 flavors. I call it Baskin Robbins. You can have whatever flavor you want, but there's only one truth. There's only one Yahweh. There's only one Great Elohim. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. Why do they give us pagan terms? Lord and God. Those are pagan terms. Why can't we have the original? Are we not old enough yet to have the original words? Or is something in them that we might find the meaning of that we shouldn't know because the cat would be out of the bag? Ninja cat, she's out of the bag. And so there you go. We're right here. Tell it like it is. Thanks to you. So it's all, so continuing here.
Sorry, don't get me started.
So,
okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
calming down.
So I'll back up now on this.
Okay.
So virtue is both theoretical and practical, for it takes, in theory, since the road which leads to it is philosophy in its three parts: the reasoning, the ethical, and the physical. Okay, all meshed together. It also includes action. For virtue is art conversant about the whole of life, and in life all actions are exhibited. Still, although it takes in both the theory and practice, nevertheless it is most excellent in each particular. For the theory of virtue is thoroughly excellent, and I'm not sure if theory is the right word for virtue, because it is a fact. Virtue is a fact that is easily obtained, and we saw the aspects of it in the simple, what we call 10 Commandments. Virtue is there, right there. It's simple. So theory, I don't think it's the right word, but I'm not, going to translate it right here. We'll just use it, for lack of a better at the moment. But for the theory of virtue is thoroughly excellent. I think the right word would be knowledge, the vision, the ability to see the virtue. That's really what it comes down to see what virtue is thoroughly excellent, and its practice and observation is a worthy object to contend for. Absolutely. On which account Moses says that the tree is pleasant to the sight, which is a symbol of theoretical excellence, and likewise perfect for nourishment, which is a Now I have this part subtitled Tree of Life. But the Tree of Life is that most general virtue, which some people call excellence. Goodness, he has goodness here, and I know it's a code for something, and I don't know if it's perfection or excellence, so we'll leave it at that, from which the particular virtues are derived, and of which they are composed. Well, I think this goodness might mean light. I think that might be what it means. And it is on this account that it is placed in the center of paradise, having the most comprehensive place of all, in order that, like a malik, like a king, it may be guarded by the tree on each side of it. The trees on each side of it. But some say that it is the heart that is meant by the tree of life, since that is the cause of life, and since its position is in the center of the body. There you go. See, the tree of life is in the center of our bodies because we have the ability to bring forth life. So now it's reflecting upon our body as the garden. You see right there the metaphor. It's at the center. We have three centers. We have our mind, we have our heart, and we have our lower center, which is our androgynous sexual center. And so these are all pulling on us, our mind, our heart, and our sensuality. Since this is the cause of life, and since that has its position in the center of our body as being, according to them, the dominant part of the body. Well, which one? The question is, which one is dominating? By these, Aishan men ought to be made aware that they are expounding a doctrine which has more reference to medical than to natural science. But we, as has been said before, all affirm that by the tree of life is meant the most general virtue, okay, by the tree of life. Because life is in virtue. In fact, the word virtue is synonymous with the word power. Okay, power. If you got power with Yeshua, then you must have virtue. If you got virtue with him, you're living virtuously, you got power. And then you also can become sovereign with the sovereign. There's only one sovereignty. I spent 2 decades in this freedom movement in America, and everybody talked about sovereign. I'm a sovereign, and all that is, you're not a sovereign. Flesh and blood is not sovereign. They'll come round you up any day of the week they want. They've done it throughout history. The only sovereignty is in the spirit of the one who made all things. And if you're tight with him, you're sovereign. He can open that door any day. And also you can also show that you are immune to the suffering and the tyranny and go to the tree and be lit upon fire, as we've seen it classically in the ancient stories. It's just amazing what these people that had the spirit were able to do. It defies our logical reasoning, because what they had inside of them was something that we still, are in great anticipation of, and this is part of the great mystery. We've been so destroyed in our ability to know things that we are, we're starting from the worst possible focal point.
Yeah.
It's like having nothing.
Yeah.
Other than a bunch of gobbledygook, or you're in a junkyard, and out of that junkyard you got to build a car, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to build a car out of the junkyard. How are you going to do it? Well, you got to do a lot of digging, but the beauty is it's not that bad, because we have the Spirit guiding us. The Spirit is Yeshua. So once you've made your connection with him, he's the one who's going to lead you down the road. If you do put on that virtue, then he's going to guide you. You got to learn to see him. You got to see him, because he's in the great mystery. And that's what it's all about. Okay, so continuing here, and of this tree, Moses expressly says that it is placed in the center of paradise. But as to the outer tree, the other tree, that namely of the knowledge of light and darkness, he has not specified whether it is within or outside of paradise. And so the one that's at the center seems to me to be the sun, and the one that is dealing with the knowledge and of the duality, is down here on earth, where we have the light and darkness. We see both. But after he has used the following expression, and the tree of knowledge of sun and moon, of light and darkness, of good and evil, he says no more, not mentioning where it is placed, in order that anyone who is uninitiated in the principles of natural philosophy may not be made to marvel at his knowledge. Okay, in other words, yeah, because he knew his stuff. Okay, he was actually enlightened in the schools of Maitreyin. He knew as much as a man could know, talking about Moses, and that's why he also knew his job was to save the people of Yahweh, and especially when he found out he was one of them. You know, so that was his being born again, I think, because he thought he was born in Egypt, Mesar, which is Egypt, also Egypt, and then he finds out, wait a minute, I'm a part of another tribe. I think I'd rather be with them. So what then must we say? That this tree is both in paradise and also out of it. Oh, okay. So you can have one, you know what I'm saying? The duality again, what we talk about. As to, like light and darkness, day and night, right? As to its essence, indeed, in it. As to its essence, because we're like Paul said, that in him we breathe, we live, and have our being. So we cannot really be out of him, but what it's about is relationship. It's about relationship. But as to its power out of it, how so? Okay? The virtue, the power that we want, that connection. How so? The dominant portion of us is capable of receiving everything and resembles wax, which is capable of receiving every impression, whether good or bad, in reference to which fact that surplanter Jacob, the seed of light, makes a confession where he says, all these things were made for me. Okay? This entire universe was made for us, actually. But we have to use it lawfully and see what it means. For the unspeakable formations and impressions of all things in the universe are all born forward into and comprehended by the soul, which is only one. We all look different on the outside, but we're all the same on the inside. When therefore that receives the impression of perfect virtue, it has become the tree of life. But when it has received the impression of vices, it has become the tree of darkness and death. And there is knowledge in that discovery as well, the knowledge of light and darkness, right there. And vice and all blindnesses have been banished from the divine company. Therefore, the dominant power which has received it is in the paradise according to its essence. For there is in it the characteristic of virtue which is akin to the paradise. It's what our Father expects of us, what he's been trying to teach us. But again, according to its power, it is not in it yet, because the form of virtue is inconsistent with the divine operation.
Sorry, Ninja's knocking things down.
Oh, that's right. And what I hear say, anyone may comprehend in this manner. At this moment, the dominant part is in my body, according to its essence, but according to its power, and it's using a euphemism here, it is in Italy or Sicily. When it applies, in other words, it's of the earth, still of the earth, when it applies its consideration to those lands in the throne of the sun, when it is contemplating on the light. So you see, so don't you still feel like you're on earth, Ninja, when you're trying to deal with the things of the higher order, right? You know your spirit, but you still see yourself earthbound, right?
Yeah.
Working it out. That's what. So he said Italy or Sicily, that's because that's where they were working in the libraries there, obviously in in these first translations of this work. But yet we're talking about the higher order of things. We're going somewhere. We're foreigners. We're sojourners, strangers, pilgrims.
Yeah.
It's a grim pill. And continuing, on which principle it often happens that some individuals who are in profane places, that implies in their mind, according to their essence, are in the most sacred places working it out, thinking of those things which relate to virtue. And again, others who are in the temple of the gods, whatever that means here, and profane in their minds, from the fact of their minds receiving a change for the worse, and blind impressions, dark impressions, so that vice is neither in paradise nor not in it. For it is possible that it may be in it according to its essence, but it is not possible that it should be according to its power. So in him we move and have our being, but what good is it if we're not one with that power, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole objective here.
Yeah.
Is to be conquered of the self and to surrender to the higher power so that he can rule from the throne of your Son, breathing into you and ruling, looking through your eyes and being a light for this world, lit upon fire. And now we're on the river. I take one more drink here, and I'm glad everybody's hanging in there. It's great. We've got some people that can wrap their mind around this,
It's amazing, Desert.
Yep, there's that quote, the most important science in the universe is communication. And you did a great job with all those graphics.
Thank you.
Okay. So, the river. And a river goes forth out of the atom, falsely called Eden. And a river goes forth out of the atom to water the paradise. That's light. That's the river of light. To water then the lower garden, which is called paradise here as well. They never make the distinction between the lower paradise or the higher, and that's one of the problems with this translation here.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the river of light is flowing. They got people on earth looking for Eden and the rivers, and it's the river of light, and it parts into the four directions. It does not the light cover the entire earth? It does. It's parted into the four directions: north, south, east, and west, symbolized by the swastika, or the cross, the Maltese cross, but the swastika is symbolic of the fan, of the light particles spinning, and so there's different aspects in these symbols. And so the river goes out of the atom, the garden of the atoms. The atoms are raining down upon us in a river of light flowing onto this lower garden. And from there it is separated into the four headwaters, north, south, east, and west. The name of the first is Faishon. Faishon. There's the light of the Fae. That's what Faishon means. The light of the mother. That's the Fae is the mother. And so one river is called the light of the mother. It's our mother. Maybe if it's our mother, we should love her, and we should recognize the beauty of this drama that is playing out every second of the day. Never does the sun stop shining. Perpetually. Yeshua is, of course, behind it. The male, female, the duality within the one, the completion, the whole. Man and woman come together because they can create life when they come together, not separately. And so they're a divided creation. We're talking about the one coming down, both male, female, in the great mystery. So when Yeshua came down, he's in the form of a man, but yet he, by virtue of the physical nature, is the female, and that was the love.
Yeah.
Remember earlier I talked about how when we were little we were afraid of our father because the dad is always tough, mother's always gentle and soft because she bore us. She gave birth to us, so she's very sympathetic to her little ones. But the father, he's a tough guy, but yet now we find out that the father's love is just like the woman, just like the mother. It's the same thing. And so the Feishon, the mother's light, that is the one which encircles the entire land of Havilah. And Havilah has also been regarded as India, but nonetheless it is still a metaphor, and we'll find out more as we go here. There is a land where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, perfect, actually, not good, perfect. And there also are the carbuncle and the sapphire stone. And the name of, and so what is the gold? Well, remember in Meitzar, when Esher-Rayul was going to leave, they said that they borrowed the gold from the women. They borrowed the women's gold, and they were happy to give it because their land was being decimated. And so the gold is the knowledge. The gold is your mythology. The gold is your spirituality. The gold is what gives you life. There's nothing more important than your life. It is the gold. You've been given something precious. Are you going to preserve it? Are you going to nurture it? That's the question. And the name of the second river, and by the way, just backing up, I'm not sure what a carbuncle is, but the sapphire, clearly these are precious stones, and they may represent your mind as well. In this, the gold is the knowledge. The gold
Sapphire's
is
green.
spirituality.
The sapphire's green, and it doesn't. The sapphire's green, isn't it?
I'm not sure, but nonetheless, the precious gem is your mind.
Okay.
That's your mind.
Well, I was thinking heart with green. That was all. Yeah.
Okay. And the name of the second river is Gihon. Gihon. And I haven't done the etymology on these words. The first one was easy. Feishon, the mother, the Fey, the light of the Fey. That's the sun again. But the Gihon, the Gay is another aspect of light. It means the light of the sun. And the hon could be relative to the word horn, meaning the sounds of the sun, meaning the things that are generated here on earth now that speak to us. And continuing, this is that which encircles the entire land of Ethiopia. So notice that both encircle, both are covering the entire land, but these terms of Havilah and Ethiopia, these words mean something as well. The ether, that's Ethi, is the ether. Opia is the opium.
Yeah.
That's like of the highest order. We all, wanted to be on the, like when you're taking a drug, you want to feel as removed from this world as possible and as good as possible. And that's what drugs do. They make you feel a sense of pleasure or ecstasy. And so this Ethiopia, therefore it implies, something of a higher state. And then the third river is the Tigris. The Tigris, well, here we can hear the word egress and progress. The Tigris, the light that proceeds, it could mean the light that proceeds. The Te is the original aspect of the word day. So the progression of light, this is the river which flows in front of the Assyrians. The Assyrians are the Assyrians, falsely called the Dezert-Owl. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. And like I said, I haven't done the etymologies. I'm just reading off the cuff here because I thought it was relevant for today's broadcast. I just read all this again last night. In these words, Moses intends to sketch out the particular virtues. So it's only to sketch out particular virtues. It's not literal rivers. It is light. You see it flowing every day, but you don't get it. And I'm not talking to you, Ninja Direct. I'm just speaking in general.
That's okay.
They don't.
That's okay.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
They in other words, the truth that is speaking to us in the metaphors of nature and symbols, from the stars to the sun, to the plants, to our environment, to the nature of our body, the symbolism, all of the things we're talking about. It's in front of our face.
Yeah, it's right
we
there.
We can't read because we've been enslaved.
Yeah.
In our mind.
Yeah.
We don't get pictures. We don't interpret metaphor as symbol. We need to be told what something means. We need to be spoon-fed the pablum because we've been pre-programmed. We are not able to use our sixth sense. ability to reason and to process.
Yeah.
Or to interpret, or to transliterate these Eshavors, these words that I have to do here on the broadcast for everybody, because the light has been so perfect and great. In these Eshavors, Moesha'ul intends to sketch out. And here the word Aisha, and all these different words, word Aisha.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the primary word that you find now built in all these other words, just like Aisha, Dom, Sodom, and all these other words I talk about?
Yeah, I remember when you first came upon Aisha, and now
it's the royal eye.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah.
It's the royal eye. What it's telling you is to see, have a royal eye, put the royal eyes on, and see. And they also, therefore, these particular virtues, they are also, coincidentally, four in number. Four in number, just like the four rivers that parted from one river, from the source, from the light. Prudence, temperance, courage, and justice. And now, the greatest river from which the four branches flowed off, the generic virtue. Generic may not be the right word here, but gen is for generation, and Rick is rich. So the generated richness of virtue that comes from the prime source river, the first river before it parts, which we have already called perfection of light. Perfection of light, and the four branches are the same number of virtues. Get the picture.
Wow.
You're hearing it first. Nobody has ever defined what I'm defining right now in all my life, in all my 62 years. I'm looking on earth for the Garden of Eden, and it's the sun that rises in the east every day. It is in the east, in the Eden, in the atom, in the east. That's the breast. Put a B on it. B-R-E-A-S-T. The breast of the mother, of the Fae, the sun, where the virtues come from. I'll take a sip. And you get it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And nobody seems to want to get it, though, because if they did, they'd have to have a total transformation of their world and of their reality, and their paradigm. And it's a tough one. It will be a miracle for anybody to be saved when all these things have been, you can see, so well clouded and covered up, thrown dirt over, and then, we're going to just get 2017 and read little books out of our New Testament and quote them and, sing songs about them, and yet it's the remnant of what's been left after everything else was stolen from us. That was to tell us the way back home. Okay, so continuing here. Now, the greatest river from which the four branches flowed off is the perfection of light, nature. And the four branches are the same number of virtues, four. The generic virtue, therefore, the perfect light enriching virtue, therefore, derives its beginning from the atom. Here it says from Eden, but it is the atom of light, the sun. Everything came out of the light. Yeshua is light. Yahweh is light, and in them is no darkness at all. Read 1 John. Read the Gospel of John, the first few chapters. Read the beginning, which is the wisdom of the great Elohim, which stands up in the flowing light and results and triumphs, being delighted and honored on account of nothing else except its great Father, Yahweh. That's it. Recognizing the truth, knowing where we come from. We are subject for. And the four particular virtues are branches from the generative enriching virtue, the source, which like a river waters all perfect actions. Which like a river waters or nourishes all the perfect actions of each with an abundant stream of benefits. Let us examine the expressions of the writer. A river, says he, goes atom to nourish the paradise below. This river is generated richness and perfection of nature. Is not nature perfect? Is not everything made perfect? Even our bodies are perfect, and look at how they maintain us and keep us going, even when we abuse it.
Yeah, exactly.
And this issues forth out of the atom of the wisdom of Yahweh, who is the great Elohim. And that is the Eshavor, the Savior, the flaming sword, the word, the shower, the sower of Yahweh, who is Yeshua. For it is according to the Eshavor of the great Elohim that the generative richness of virtue flows and was created. And generic virtue covers this land. That is to say, it nourishes the particular virtues, waters them, but it does not derive its beginning from any principle of location here on earth, but from a principle of preeminence from up above. For each of the virtues is really and truly a ruler and a Malik, king. Each virtue is a ruler and a king. And the expression is separated. It is equivalent to, is marked off by fixed boundaries, since wisdom appoints them settled limits with reference to what is to be done, courage with respect to what is to be endured, temperance with reference to what is to be chosen, and justice in respect to what is to be distributed. And I'll go on a little further, I think. Yeah, I'm almost at the end here. The name of the one river is Feishon. This is that river which encircles all the land of Avila. There is the land where there is great gold. And the gold of that land is light. That's the gold. That's what the letter G symbolizes. There also are the carbuncle and the sapphire stone. One of the four virtues is prudence. I can actually tell you what those stones are. Let me just give you it real quick, because I read about it just today in my book on symbolism. Here you go.
Cool.
Let's talk about that stone real quick. We'll get a little bit of a picture of it. Okay. So, stone, what does it symbolize? Stability, durability, reliability, immortality, imperishability, the eternal, the eternal, cohesion, the indestructibility of, like a sapphire or a diamond, the indestructibility of the supreme reality, static life, a stone, a rock, a mountain, a tree, or grove, all of which are associated symbolically, can represent the cosmos in eternity. Stones often accompany trees in sacred places. Stone represents the supreme support of all things in the universe. There you go. And Yeshua is referred to as the rock, right?
Yep.
The stone of foundation is the stone of foundations is the rock on which the universe is founded. That's Yeshua, the keystone of the earth, the top of the pyramid, the top of the arch, the source of the waters of life. There you go. The rock is the source of the waters of life. Now, let's go back into Arabia, where Mount Zion is located, right? Do you remember seeing the giant split rock 50 feet tall?
Yep.
Okay? Can you imagine what a sight that would have been to see that rock split open and a river and a lake come forth out of it, and it keeps flowing for 40 years while they're stuck there? What a symbol, huh?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, here it is again. The stone of foundation is the rock on which the universe is founded, the keystone of the earth, and the source of the waters of life came out of a rock, symbolizing, therefore, the sun, symbolizing, therefore, Yeshua. What is firm, what is absolutely stable, what is unmovable in its metaphor. A broken stone or column signifies death, disintegration, or dismemberment. Heavy stones or rocks covering a well, spring, or cave of treasure, hidden access to water of life, which springs from the rock, symbolize the difficulties and necessary conditions which must be overcome, or comprehended with the mind of reason, and filled, therefore, before the waters of life, that flowing river that's continually shining down, or the esoteric treasures of hidden knowledge where they can be found. And sometimes the rock is miraculously struck to let the waters gush forth, or the cavern open up. And I can continue, but those are my highlights from earlier today. And almost done with my dictionaries on symbolism. It's been a 40-year journey reading them, and you can see how relevant it is to read that stuff, Ninja, right?
Yeah, okay? You have to. Yeah, and thank you.
Yeah, and so
thank you.
Okay, so continuing here. So the carbuncle, the sapphire. So we get the picture now that these stones are metaphors for, for for our mind, but also for the firmness, the absolute, what took in the earth, which couldn't happen in 6,000 years or 10,000 years, but the gold and the stones, the precious stones in the earth, we know, with the heat pressure and the evolution of creation, it took millions of years to create these stones, right?
Yep.
These gems.
Yep.
The gold, right? So it didn't happen in that time, because we know geologically it happens over a long process of time, and that's why this creation is so magnificent, because it didn't happen overnight. It happened through a long process of great sophistication, of knowledge and wisdom, founded upon mathematics that is beyond our ability to comprehend and reason. It is a greatness beyond anything we can say. So here we go, picking up where we left off. The name of the first river is Peshon. This is that river which encircles all the land of Havilah. There is the land where there is gold, and the gold of that land is light, perfection. There are also the carbuncle and the sapphire stone. One of the four virtues is prudence, which Moeshul calls Peshon. That's prudence. Peshon, because the soul abstains from and guards against acts of inequity, and it meanders in a circle and flows all around the land of Havilah. That is to say, it preserves a mild and gentle and favorable constitution, and as of all fusible essences, the most excellent and the most illustrious is gold. So also the virtue of the soul, which enjoys the highest reputation, is prudence. And when he uses the expression, that is the land where there is gold, he is not speaking geographically. Give me a break. That is where gold exists, but that is the land in which that greatness, valuable greatness of possession, exists. Brilliant as gold, tried in the fire, and valuable, namely, prudence. And this is confessed to be the most valuable possession of Yahweh, prudence. Prudent means you know what to do, the sense of reason, the sixth sense that they wanted you to forget about. Here's your five senses. You can smell, taste, touch, and hear, and feel. But do not reason, okay? Do not reason. Do not ask questions. Turn off, turn on television, and everything's okay. But with reference to the geographical position of virtue, there are two characters, each invested with distinctive qualities. One being who has prudence, and the other being who exerts it. That's your automobile. That's your vehicle. Now you're going to take that prudence and act accordingly with all of your actions. And these he likens to the carbuncle and the emerald. A little further.
Interesting.
And the name of the second river is Gihon. This is that which encircles all the land of Ethiopia. Just a metaphor again. Ethiophe is my note here. Ethiophe. Under the symbol of this river, courage is intended. Okay? Under the symbol of this river, under the symbolic nature of this river, it's not a literal river, other than a river of light. Courage is intended. For the name of Gihon being interpreted means chest. And chest could be abbreviated for K-star. So the fire of the star, that's your heart, right? Your heart is there. The fire of the star, that's in your heart. The fire that burns. You know what you want to do. You know what you have to do. Or an animal which attacks with its horns, each of which interpretation is emblematical of courage, or that's the ram. So let's just use the ram. The ram is the symbol of the sun. There's the fire again. Up on the tallest peaks, on the steepest slopes, you can't imagine how these bighorn sheep can stay up on these slopes. You know, they're so unbelievable.
Yeah.
They live there.
Yeah. I've seen some. I've seen it.
Yeah. We wouldn't even
They
know.
defy gravity.
They're so big and bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah. For courage has its abode emblematic about the chest, the K-star, the fire of the star in your heart, where also is the seat. There it is. Here it is. Here it comes. See, I was saying it. I didn't even see what's in front of me. Where also is the seat of your heart, and where man is prepared to defend himself or to defend another. For courage is the knowledge of what is to be withstood, and of what is not to be withstood, and of what is indifferent. And it encircles and surrounds Ethiopia, Ethiophe. That would be the eye of creation's true mother. That's a way that could be said in that. Making this and encircles and surrounds it, making distinctions of war against it, the distinctions of what's fighting against it, what's fighting against us. And the name of Ethiopia being interpreted means, well, here it is. Here's the definition: humiliation. How about that? Humiliation.
Wow.
Meaning, in the sense, not meaning to be humiliated, but meaning to be humble. Humiliation.
Yeah.
To be humble.
Yeah.
And,
Still
and
wow.
cowardice. But cowardice is a humiliating thing. For courage is adverse to humiliation and to cowardice. And the third river, Tigris, the eye of regression, perhaps. This is what that which flows from Asia Real. The corruption is Assyria. The third virtue is temperance, which absolutely opposes that kind of pleasure which appears to be the distress, the directness of human infirmity. For the translation of the name Eishorian in the Greek tongue is Euthinotes, or directors, and he has likened desire as a tiger. It's the tiger, and which is the most untamable of beef. It being desire about which temperance is conversant. And then it goes on for a couple long paragraphs here, and then the fourth river continues. Moeshul is the river Euphrates, and the name of the Euphrates is fertility. So the fourth river is fertility, and the symbolically taken is the fourth river virtue, namely justice, which is most truly the prudence of productive virtue, in which gladdens the intellect. Okay, so there you go. Just a little example of what light disk flowing out of the atom of the sun. The light is truth. We can go into, our scriptures. Let's just do that. I think it's a good way to cap it off.
Okay.
And I'll open up Lamsa version here, and put the phone down a minute. Go to First John. If anybody wants to go to First John and compare. Almost there.
Oh, hang on.
Okay, First John.
Sorry, I'm just getting the
Okay.
the New International Version. I'll do a compare.
Oh, the worst of them all you got,
Yeah.
huh? The NIV.
Yeah, I haven't got the others printed out, and I can't. I don't want to touch the computer screen to get them up on the screen, so I'll make and do with this one. Just sifting through the pages. You can start if you want. I'm almost there.
Oh, okay. I'm winding down here. So,
yeah, me too.
he who is from the beginning, the one whom we have heard, and have seen with our eyes, have looked upon, and have touched with our hands, we declare to you, is the word of life, the Eshavor of life. Chapter 1, 1 John chapter 1, verse 2. The Eshavor of life. For the life is revealed, and we have seen it, and bear record and witness to it, and proclaim unto you the eternal life, which is with the Father, the great Father, and is revealed to us through his seed, his only loved seed, Yeshua. It is that which we have seen and heard, and declare unto you, that you may also have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the great Father of light, and his only Zen, his only loved seed, and Zen, Yeshua, the Mashiach. And these things we write to you, that your enlightenment, your joy of enlightenment, your enlightenment of joy, in you may be complete. This then is the perfect record and news the star message which we have declared and heard from him, and declared to you, that Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, is light, and in him is no darkness at all. No darkness at all. If we go further on, in 1 John 2:27, it says regarding the anointing, and the anointing is truth, and it is not a part of any lie. No darkness in him, and he's not a part of any lie. And so, then if we want to know the truth, ladies and gentlemen, then we perhaps need to start identifying all the lies, because the lies are many, and the lies are great. And we have to see and read it for ourselves. We have to put that thinking cap on, and we have to grow. We have to know. Because our soul innovation and our transcendence from this wicked world will not happen by accident. Handwriting's on the wall. The psychopaths are here. They're out for you. They want you. They want to kidnap your babies. They want to inject them with poisons. They want to rape them. They want to drink their blood. They want to put you on the front of a battlefield somewhere, and they hate your guts. According to their Babylonian Talmud, you're you're cattle. You're not even somebody to talk to. You go to the phony Israel, pseudo Israel, and those men that wear all the black and the long black robe, overcoats, and they wear the black hats, and they got all these curls coming off their head. Go try talking to one of them. They will walk away from you. They will not talk to you because you are cattle, and they don't talk to cattle. The Talmudic Babylonian system is all you see, and Hinduism is the Star of David, and even David is a corruption because it means death. David is D-E-A-D, a D in the beginning and the end. Two D's, that's death. And it's Tavat. Tavat is the right word. T-A-V-A-T is the original word for David. They corrupted it all, ladies and gentlemen. They took away your words, the Eshavors, the royal center, so that you could see and read it for yourself. To know that Sodom is actually Eshadom, which means the royal eye of judgment, and therefore we got the picture that Sodom, being Ashadam, meant that it was the royal eye of creation that had to be destroyed because the firstborn cannot go. The firstborn is in the lower realm, and it is the becoming the secondborn, or what is called commonly born again, that we have to become. We have to put on the light. We have to be born of light. In the beginning, we're a seed of the moon, sons of, what do they call it? Son of man. Son of man is seed of the moon. It means we're the seed of darkness. But yet was left in us a spark of light of this duality that can be lit upon fire. For starting with the oil, fill your cup with oil. The oil is truth. The olive oil is truth. All, listen to the word olive. Olive. All live. All live with the oil of truth. The olive oil of truth. All live. All live. Olive. It is what lights the lamp. Okay? So put some olive oil. Don't be like the five foolish virgins. They had no oil in their lamp. They're waiting to go. And they got no oil in their lamp to light it on fire when the marriage is to ensue. When the marriage of the great breath of the wind and fire comes down to fill you. You need the oil in your lamp.
Otherwise
you're separate from the falsehood.
Yeah, otherwise you're left in darkness if you don't have oil in your lamp.
Right. True? You can only be in the darkness.
Yeah.
So where we are at the moment while we're sifting in Yeshua is the gray zone. We're coming out of darkness into the light, and that's in the middle. That's where two circles come together, and in the middle you get the vesica Pisces, which creates a type of an oval shape, but it's more like an almond.
Yeah.
It's got a point on each end. It's the vesica Pisces in there. Where white and black come together, you get the gray. And so we're sifting. Here's where we sift. We're in the grave in Yeshua, and we want to make it into the circle of light. And so once we have perfected the knowledge of our true nature and perfected all of our behavior, all of our action, then we can transcend into the great circle of light, symbolic of the throne of the sun, and move from the gray to the white. And so it's a great thing that Yeshua has done, because because we could not go directly to the Father because He is so great. So Yeshua becomes the conduit, becomes the active principle within nature, and therefore our Redeemer. And we are buried with Him in the grave until He finally says, "Lazar, come forth. Ray of light, come forth. Ulazar." The light of vision of a star, the light vision of a star, you who can now see in this darkness, come forth, because you have met the test. You're walking on water. You're doing what I told you to do. You put on my light. You're clothed in white, like a pearl. So this is a great mystery, Ninja, and I hope that our friends get it today. I hope they share this information with others. We're all on the journey together. Not one of us has anything over the other. We need to help each other, and you're participating in this arena by doing the broadcast every day. You lose sleep when you do it, staying up late, and I sure appreciate it. And there's that serpent again with two legs walking. I can't get over it. What a picture!
It's the best picture ever, that one.
To make my point, to show I'm not the only one saying this. In Maitzar, they're telling us who the serpent is.
Yeah.
It is we the people, the sheeple. Please feed me. I can't feed myself. You've got to be a ram. You got to stop being a lamb, and you got to be a ram, because the ram is Yeshua. He wasn't the Lamb of God. He was the Ram of Yahweh, the Ram, and he pretended to be a lamb in the great mystery. He pretended, but we know he was a ram because nobody could do what he did. He's the Aram, the Zavram, the sovereign, one who can do all things, who is all things, knew from the beginning what he was going to do. And this is the message to the world. So let there be Zorain. And may the light shine for you, Ninja, as well as all of our friends out there today listening in and on the recording as well. Anything else before we wrap it up then?
No, I don't think so. Mainly because I'm all full of wows at the moment, and I'm kind of lost for words. It's
You're lost for Asia Wars?
Yes, lost for Asia Wars.
All right, well, since nobody's calling in on Skype, I'm gonna Skype might be broken. I'm gonna have to check.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, it works. I know it works.
Slight technical difficulties.
Everybody's listening today can tell.
Yeah.
Not a lot of chatting. It's everybody's listening.
Yeah, no, we're all listening. Like I kept getting closer to the phone. I had to remember to keep moving back when I wanted to speak, so that our voices were even.
Yeah. Everybody heard it here first. And that the river light comes out of the Eden, that's the atom, that's in the east, and it is the sun. And it departs into the four directions, and it's all symbols. Just like the 6 days of the week are symbolic of great periods of time.
Yeah.
Because we can see the evidence all around us of the great period of time that it took. The earth came out of the sun, and it, as an ore of flame, of molten light that had to cool over time, and then the moon came around it, and this great mystery, it was a long process, and before it even began, it was already finished. Already the design of how it would all be was accomplished prior to even bringing forth the creation. The greatness of Yahweh, his infinite nature, his quality, is so. So we're like in comparison, like we're like the amoeba, that one-celled organism in the water. We are so distant from his greatness in our nature, and yet he gives us the opportunity to reach up into his realm of where he is in the mind, because it is a mental thing. It is not a physical thing. So everybody keep on pondering these imponderable.
Wow.
Where you can get pictures, and you can realize that the divine love made the universe for us, just for this heartbeat, this one moment of time on this planet that we're here. And and we can transcend. We're not animals. We are a royal creation, the royal eye of creation. Royal eye meaning therefore a royal center. We are each a royal center. We are at the center of our own universe, at the center of our own garden, and our mind is supposed to maintain that ground, as we read at the beginning of Philo. And so we need to see all these metaphors. The earth is a garden, and our body is a garden. We're in a great drama, a play, and the enemy, these psychopaths, are lost in their own delusion of darkness and wickedness and addictions, and they're not going, and they want to make sure you don't go. So we have to be set free from them. We have to stop wasting our time on the things that will never save us, and start looking towards that which is the only relevant thing that is important, and that is connecting with the one, a love affair that he wants to have with us, because he loves us, because he knows better than we do what we must do. And so we have to read these words every day to know what he has that we must do. Okay? So with that, then I'll let you go, and I just want to say, don't forget, you're tuned into the Forbidden History Chronicles, and with Vinci Count 111, and if you want to know the future, just look for the Forbidden History Chronicles right here, okay? We're going to do it as long as nature plays out for us, and we are here every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time as well. And what time in Australia, Angela?
At the moment, for another week, 12:30 a.m. Thursdays and Mondays Oh, ninja. Sorry.
Are you beside yourself?
It's my duplicate.
Ninja's beside herself. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's my duplicate. Just being a bit klutzy, full of mischief. Aussie time. I'm not going to try and repeat it because it's like nearly 4:30 a.m.
Yeah. I know you're having some very bad weather, typhoons up in North Australia,
and I'm seeing more detail reported on YouTube than I am on mainstream news.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I noticed
and we know
that.
It's geoengineering. We know that it's all brought to us by the governments of the world. They're taking our world down.
Yeah.
Dane Wigington, don't forget the YouTube channel Dane Wigington, geoengineeringwatch.org for the new listeners. Okay?
The link's in my description.
There's no normal weather anymore, and we're having to tough it out, and we're going to go down in a rough way. But if we're connected with our great Father of Light and Yeshua, there are no worries, as they say down under. Just a great light that shines for us, and we can rest assured that everything is okay. We are eternal beings, and we've got a long way. Our door to the window of eternity is endless, and so that's beautiful. Okay, so Ninja, thank you. I'll let you go. Peace and light to everyone out there. And thanks for hanging in there on the broadcast and for giving me inspiration to do this work at the same time.
Okay, I just want to say thank you for a beautiful presentation. It was amazing.
All right, Ninja. You're welcome.
Okay. See ya. Peace and love. Okay, and that was amazing, as per usual. But wow. Just wow, guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for joining after our slight technical difficulties at the start. I'm glad you guys stayed with us. That was just a beautiful presentation from Desert. Okay. I'm going to end it here. I've had way too much coffee and it's not really doing anything anymore. Love you guys lots. Be safe. Like Desert was saying about the weather, I've been keeping an eye on it too. We've got some crazy wind at the moment. Actually, it just started up tonight. Out there, I can hear it, and I normally don't hear it from inside, so it's pretty crazy. Alright, be safe, love you all, and see you Wednesday, sorry. Alright, see yous.
Yourself. 2, to log or unlock the conference. 3, to record the conference. 4,